And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the Korean StarCraft League. Week number 56. Oh my god, I'm of course your host VIP, and with me, I'm joined by the people in the chat and by these amazing players as well. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket is live, the bracket is final, and I apologize for the late start. We were waiting for our players, and we have our first two. We have our Terran and our Protoss. We have spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkyona, the yellow Terran player. It is Bulgon. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Genji Esports. It is Trap. And I totally did not just wake up. Totally Bobby then. Oh my god, but yes, it's great to be here this lovely Saturday afternoon / morning, wherever you happen to be, of course. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim this series. We can go over the bracket momentarily. What I will say though is that we are missing some players that I wasn't aware that we're going to be missing here. Alas, there is a Stormgate event happening at the same time. There's a Stormgate event happening in Korea, and some of our regulars are going to be playing in that event. So we're going to be missing Clem, going to be missing Nightmare, and a couple of others as well. But yeah, it's a really interesting turnout here this week, and there's definitely a lot to go over. For now, we have our first series, we have our first best of 3, and I'm unfamiliar with Bulgon. Unfamiliar with him. I don't even know where he's from. I'll be honest. I was checking Wikipedia, and he has played in Kung Fu Cup before. He's played in KSL, but outside of that, we haven't seen too many other events from him outside of a couple of like online weeklies here and there. So I'm excited to see where he can take us and what he brings to the table here. Of course, Trap is going to be one of the big favorites. Trap recently in Kung Fu Cup went on a tear. Trap, he took down players like Classic, took down Bjorn, and he also took down Classic Bjorn. Was it Solar? He took down Raynor. That's it. How could I forget? But he took down Classic Bjorn and Raynor this week in Kung Fu Cup, which is one of the top players from each race. A Terran, a Protoss, and a Zerg. Trap, he was insane in this week's KFC, the final KFC of the season, and we'll see how far he can go in a tournament like the KSL. Oh boy. For now, coming in with the Probe Scout, back at home, it's going to be a standard opener. It's going to be a Gate Cyber Expand into our tech of choice, a Stargate opener out of Trap. Meanwhile, back at home, we have our Terran player opening up Double Gas. Double Gas means a faster factory, means a delayed CC. There we go, CC is going to be on the low ground. So far, I mean, hey, the build is looking like a build. It's I mentioned before, like, I'm not too familiar with Bulgon. I don't really even know their kind of a tier of play, I should say. So far, so good. Is going to be a standard opener here from our Terran player, opening up Double Reaper Hellion, moving out for some map control. Moving out. And again, I hope everyone in the chat has been doing well. Hope you're all going to have a great weekend as well. A lot is, of course, going on. And first Reaper is going to go down. We will try to hunt down the initial death, but alas, we do shade away just in time. That does shade away. Shield battery is finishing up as well. And for now, Trap is going to be keeping his units alive, does pull back. Unfortunately for our Terran player, even though we deflected the Adepts, we have not scouted the tech. We don't know what's coming our way. Last could be a Twilight Council, could be a Stargate, could be a Robo for all we know, so we are in the dark back at home. We are amassing Cyclones. I mean, we're playing it safe. Marines and Cyclones on the way, so we will have some anti-air. And this does look a little bit old school here, but it's all good. I'm referring to the tech lab. Alas, nowadays you don't need a tech lab. Oh, we're going Cyclone right into the tank. Very early tank production here out of our Terran. Okay, interesting. Now, with a fast tank, I would assume this would be for a tank drop, but no, it's going to be tech lab on the factory, tech lab on the starport. We're going for a very meta build nowadays. We're going for tank Banshee. Okay. I'm excited. I'm ready for it. Again, if you've been watching some Korean StarCraft as of late, especially Korean TVP, you'd be familiar with this. Players like Bjorn, players like Maru, they have been embracing this quite a lot. Even a lot of the European Terrans as well, like Clem, like Spirits, like Hero Marine. They have been adapting this on their own side of things as well, going for a much more aggressive start. Basically, Banshees, they can harass across the map. Meanwhile, we can go for a tank push right through the center, bring everything together, and hit like a truck as well. Now, something that's interesting about this variation, though, is that there is no cloak. cloak is not being researched here from the side of Bulgum, so detection would be required. Meanwhile, Phoenixes, they hit the main base and they're wreaking havoc, and the downside of what's going on right now, tanks don't shoot up, banshees don't shoot up. This Phoenix opener from Trap is gonna actually shut this build down. We have limited anti-air. The other downside of what's going on here, because we're prioritizing tanks and banshees, we have no stim. No stim whatsoever, so the Marine's gonna have a hard time keeping up. No Cyclones, no Vikings. As much as I appreciate this opener here from our Terran player, because of the Phoenix opener from Trap, he should be perfectly fine. He should be safe and sound. He can just pick away at this army and have free reign of all things Terran right now. Again, the only thing really keeping Trap at bay is that Cyclone. And yeah, Trap can have his way with this. Again, like, this is a solid build out of Bulgum, but specifically against the composition of Trap, like, it is going to struggle. It is going to struggle quite a bit. We have turrets on the way to make sure that our mineral line is going to be safe and sound, and we're eventually, I don't think we can move out. That's the problem, is that this build is designed to move out across the map, is designed to hit that natural, or even deny the third, but it's not going to happen. Ooh. Speaking of the Cyclone, gets picked up, gets lifted, gets shut down. We catch a Banshee, we get one. We don't quite get the others, but a Banshee is a massive pickoff already. And at this point, Bulgum, he's just being, he's being harassed to death here. He's just being contained, being bullied by the Protoss. And back at home, Trap, he's now fully aware of what's going on. He's getting to his own Colossus production, third base is on the way, Twilight Council, gateways. Here comes the move outs, but again, we've already lost so much, and we do pull the boys with this. Against a Twilight Council opener, I wouldn't be opposed to this move out. Like, it'd have a lot of potential. Have a lot of potential here, a lot of damage, a lot of DPS, but alas, Phoenixes, they're looking for an opening. Colossus moving out as well to meet up with the main army. Yeah, we have detection just in case we have cloak. Phoenixes, they come in from behind and they will lift the tanks, and the tanks are going to be completely shut down. And Trap, he picks his army apart. Oh my god. Yeah, the tanks do fall, and a lot of this comes down to the lack of scouting. If you remember, the initial Reaper Hellion did not get into the natural. I mean, looking at the Terran's vision, he's seeing nothing. He's seeing nothing across the map. So going for a blind build like this is a risky maneuver, and we can see why. As we were essentially blind countered by opening up Stargates, and we're going to lift up every single Cyclone as well. We're getting into reactor Cyclone production. The boys are being pulled, but Trap, he's snowballing out of control. He's breaking through the defensive line. There's one Cyclone left. We have two bunkers, true. We have our bunker set up as well, so we can hold the line, but that costs us 19 SEVs. And Bulgum is down to barely any mining, barely any saturation. He pulled the voice from his main, actually. Oh my god. That's how desperate the situation was. First bunker goes down, and now we can just focus down the SCVs. Cyclones have arrived. We are picking away at the Phoenixes, true. Widowmine going off as well. And Bulgum, he's barely holding on. Again, the repairs weren't good enough. But behind this, Trap taking a fourth. He's taking a fourth base, getting better saturation, getting further ahead economically. The Colossus swipes on the SCV. Oh no, the SCVs! They stack up, they go down. Oh, we even drag the mine into the main army. And now there's no repairs left. The bunker does fall. We barely have anything left standing. And with that, Trap has broken through the main army. Back in the main base, we have three Marauders and not much else. Now we finally get Stim on the way, but it's going to be denied. And yeah, there's just nothing remaining here for our Terran player. We can clean up what little is left, going for the final Marauders. And Trap has broken through, winding it back. Of course, the Stargate opener was just really brutal for the Terran player. Just had limited anti-air, had nothing to defend, was just picked apart, and GG Trap takes game number 1. Ooh. GG. A solid game there from Trap. I mean, it wasn't like he was fully aware what was going on when he opened up Stargate, when he opened up with the Phoenixes. Wasn't fully aware, but, you know, was happy to embrace that, was happy to just pick away at the Terran, and yeah, GG. GG well played. Trap takes the lead. And we'll see what else Bulgum has up his sleeve. I'm curious if he has other builds as well that he can rely upon. Curious how else he will approach this. For now, we have our map of choice. It's going to be Oceanborn. Going to be loading into Oceanborn as game number 2. And again, after the series, we can go over some of the bracket. Ooh, unfortunately, there was some walkovers. I mentioned before that the reason why we went live a little bit later is just because... we were waiting for some players, and I was hoping to catch some of these matches, but yeah, it looks like we did end up having those walkovers. But hey, we have our series. Oh, and the bracket is progressing quite quickly, actually. Oh boy. Oh, DJ. I'll be fine. I'm probably gonna nap after this series. After this this tournament broadcast. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. But here we go. We're getting into our next game, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our Teal Terran player. Now Teal, representing himself, it is Bulgum. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Gen G Esports. It is a trap. Go. As a reminder, last game Bulgum did open up double gas into his 1-1 setup into Tank Banshee. We'll keep an eye on our Terran player to see if he does the same, or if he does divert his build and bring something different to the table. Likewise, last game we had Trap open up Stargates. See if he does deviate as well. I mean, Stargate play is ideal on some of these larger maps like Alkyone, like Site Delta, for example. But on a smaller map like Oceanborn, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Twilight Council opener instead for Blink Stalkers, for just a little bit more of a safety precaution here for Trap. We shall see. So for now, he's going for the Probe Scout across the map. He's going to be dipping in, and do you see what I see? I see a single gas, so Bulgum is going for a Rax Expand. Okay, a much more economic opener by a Terran player. I appreciate it. I appreciate that he has a bit of a wider berth of play. Wider breadth of play, even. We have our initial Marine opener. Ooh, that is a little bit concerning to me. What I mean by that is that we're opening a Marine, not Reaper. That means, once again, our Terran player is not really concerned with scouting. Once again, our Terran player is not really concerned with what Trap is up to, and that can be abused, as we saw in the last game. There's that CC on the low ground. Again, economic opener, followed by... Oh, I see. Followed by a second Rax, and soon to be a third Rax as well, I imagine. Looks like Bulgum is going for a 3 Rax opener. A 3X build. This is designed to hit a really strong stim timing with Mass Marine. We should be seeing a third Rax behind this as well. And a Trap is going to attempt to scout, but is going to be denied.
Glory to the Daylong.
Do have a full wall off. Bunkers on the way. Back at home, Trap opening up a depth, moving out across the map, and is going for a Twilight Council opener. And this is also where scouting is going to be really important here for our Terran player, as, sorry, that is not a 3 Rax, that is going to be a factory. Okay. Interesting. So 2 Rax open, a bit of a 2-on-1 variation here. Tech Lab is on the way on that second Rax, that means it should be for Stim. Meanwhile, Dev gets across the map and we delay the CC. Ooh, SCV is going to be going down. Bunker is done, but the CC is delayed. And massive pickoff. We're going to get another SCV as well just before it finishes. The command center, it's so close to wrapping up, but alas, is heavily delayed. We're trading with the Marines. Second Adept is moving out across the map. SCVs are being pulled, and can we finish it? I think we can. Oh! One SCV left, and the last CC will complete just in time. So the command center does finish. Adepts are going to be cleaned up, and there it is. Stim is on the way. We have the second factory. I'm curious if this is going to be a 2-1-1. What I'm referring to is a starport, reactor, and a medevac drop, or if we go for a third Rax and pull the boys and go for a 2-base all-in. I'm leaning towards a starport. That would make a little more sense here. But the build has been disrupted. We had a lot of chaos ensuing, and Bulgum lost 5 SCVs. Back at home, Blink is on the way. We're opening up with extra gateways, and ooh, that is going to be a 4-gate Blink setup. 4-gate Blink versus 2-1-1, as there is that starport. Likewise, there's a reactor. Now, the starport was heavily delayed, so was the reactor, so this add-on swap and this double Minivac timing is going to be a little bit wonky here, but it's going to eventually come together. The downside is that because of the 4-gate Blink out of Trap, he's going to have an abundance of stalkers, he's going to have map control, and Trap should be moving out. He should be moving out on the map. Now, I mentioned before that it was important to kind of like get a read on what was going on. If we were aware of the opener of Trap, then we would most likely prioritize Marauder production instead of Marines, just to like have a standing army. Mass Marine with Stim against Blink Stalkers, they can struggle a little bit here. So we'll see. We'll see how we can hold on, if we can. As Trap is moving out across the map, and we have no tanks to defend, we have one bunker on the low ground, no bunker in the main base, no Marauders. This is going to be an impressive hold out of Bulgum if he can minimize losses and can survive this. We're blinking into the main. We dive into the main base, we're going for the reactor. Reactor is going to be shut down, we deny one of those Medivacs. Another big warp in coming in, the Medivacs! Ooh, does go down, boys are being pulled, and Trap has to get the hell out of here. We'll have to blink down. Damage is still being done though, we got 5 SCV kills already. I say 5, we get up to 9. 9 SCVs. Again, the blinks are solid. We trade well against the Marines. And you can see the Marines, they just melt against these Stalkers. And we're not done. We've only just begun. Looking for another massive warp in. A blink into the main, looking to deny combat shields. And we will. Combat shields is denied. A tank does pop out. Once again, good juggling. We do lose one Stalker. Oh, I believe 2 Stalkers went down there. Towards the end, 5 in total. But that was 16 SCVs. 16 SCVs went down. No saturation whatsoever on the low ground. We have the tank. We do hold the main. What about the natural? The bunker's no longer there. It looks like it was salvaged. We're rotating over, and we're going to be containing the Terran onto one base. Oh, as that's going to be a kill on the CC. There's no saving it. There's no escaping. The base does fall. And now we can make our way into the main. Again, the tank is a little bit too far back. You have a second tank on the way. And blinking into tanks is never an easy thing to do. So Bulgum is going to be able to defend on one base. But back at home, Trap is getting a third. He's getting a third. He's working towards charge, getting a gateway explosion. Forge is on the way for +1. Finding even more damage. Ooh, heavily supply blocking the Terran player, getting so many depots. Trappy checks the main. Oh, looks like we did hear the observer. Scanner's going to be able to shut it down. Bunkers have been thrown down as well to help fortify ourselves. And I mean, sure, we're going to be able to hold on to our one base, but Trappy's going to be free to expand and take a 4th. There we go. 4th Nexus is on the way. There's nothing stopping Trap from just teching up, expanding. He's going to try to break through. Trap wants to look. It looks like he wants to try to end it as soon, or if possible, a little bit earlier on. But honestly, Trap, you could just back off and max out. I mean, that's could totally do that. Taken to Sky Toss if you so chose. But here we go. Charge is now done. Zell's going to be tanking some of those tank shots. Yeah, boys are being pulled. First tank goes down. There's one tank left. Ooh, and this is going to be a bit of a messy fight for Trap, but he does a breakthrough. It takes down most of the army, takes down the second and the third tank. Going for another massive warp in. And Trap does have enough to break the back of Bulgum. Sure, we have some bunkers, but there's barely anything left standing. And the bunker on its own won't be enough. And we're going to clean up every single unit down to the last SCV. The copium is strong. GG gets called, and Trap will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Trap coming in as the heavy favorite. I've never casted Bulgum before, so again, I wasn't really, didn't know what to expect from the series. But GG, well played. Again, had, you know, some solid builds. I mean, I say solid builds. It was unfortunately just what he was up against, where his builds kind of fell in their face a little bit. Game 1, if you recall, did go Tank Banshee against Mass Phoenix, which was a brutal setup there. Likewise, game number 2, we had a 2-on-1 up against 4 Gapling Stalker. So both games, Trap had what he needed to punish the build and to punish the Terran player quite hard. So GG, well played. Trap does take the win here. It does advance on into the next round, where he has an opponent ready and waiting. And we will be getting ready for that next series. And we can go over the brackets. We can go over the bracket. Un momento. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. Let's quickly go over it. So we have quite a number of updates here, and as you can imagine, I was looking mainly at Future versus Green Earth. There was a walkover. Future unfortunately did not show up, but that is what I was hoping for. I was hoping to follow Future into Trap. That's what I had my eyes set on, but unfortunately Future was not here, and Green Earth gets the walkover, and we have our next series, Trap versus Green Earth. Scrolling up a little bit further, we have our PvPs. We have Lunacy versus Rebellion into Classic. Honestly, those PvPs are going to be really strong, but I did want to avoid PvPs for as long as possible because there's going to be a lot of them. So I wanted to avoid Lunacy versus Rebellion, even though it's going to be a good series. Likewise, Ordinary versus Praetor in the bottom of the bracket as well. So I did avoid that and was hoping to find another match instead. So we found ourselves here with Trap. Scrolling down, we have Beyond versus Bad Boars, another walkover. I also had my eyes on that series, but Bad Boars did not show up, so Beyond advances on into the quarterfinals, waiting for the winner of Hon Mono and Probe Scout, most likely a TVT there. So a lot of mirror matchups. That's also why we followed this portion of the bracket. Again, I was hoping for Future and Trap, and we have an update. Hon Mono does take down Probe Scout 2-1, and Hon Mono is now up against Beyond. He's now up against Beyond in a TVT in the quarterfinals. Scrolling down, we have Creator. Creator took down Hope 2-0. We had Ordinary taking down Praetor 2-0, and now Creator is up against Ordinary in a PvP. So a lot of mirror matchups in the quarterfinals. We have the only non-mirror matchup in Trap versus Green Earth. It's going to be a Protoss versus Terran. So we're going to be following this quarterfinals match into the semifinals. And I don't know if you noticed anything, but no Zergs. That's another thing that I did notice. 0 Zerg players this week. There's no Dark, there's no Shin, there's no Solar, there's no DRG, there's no Su. It is purely Protoss and Terran, which is what we are used to here on the channel. I mean, that's how online tournaments go for the most part. Feels bad, man. But typically in KSL, we do have like at least one Zerg representative, whether like 1 week it's Dark, or 1 week it's Solar, or 1 week it's Shin. This time, don't have any of them. Feels bad, man. Where's the diversity, Patty? Where's the diversity? Ah, smudge. Oh. So yeah, for now we're gonna be following Trap. Gonna be following Trap into his next series, into his next matchup. Let's go. As the videos are done, and we're jumping on in. Alright, jumping in. And if you're in the chat, predictions. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series as spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkion. We have our Canadian Terran player, Teal Terran. It is Green Earth. He's green, but he's teal. He picked this color. This is not the standard blue. I'm just saying, something's wrong here. Something's wrong. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Gen G Esports. It is Trap. Here we go. Are settling in. And this series should lead into the upper semis, which has potentially Classic in weight. It's going to be Classic, Rebellion, and Lunacy facing for all those PvPs. We might be able to catch some of those mirror matchups after this series, depending on how fast or how slow we are. And of course, Trap already warmed up in the PvT matchup. And I'm excited to see what Green Earth has to offer. I'm not really too familiar with him as well. I have seen Green Earth time and time, week and week and week, week after week in ESL Americas. He is a Canadian GM, Canadian Terran player at the GM level. I'm ready to see some of these two regions clash in the quarterfinals. Also really do appreciate whenever we have players from outside of Korea sign up and participate in the KSL. Doesn't happen too often. So I do appreciate it. I'm cheering for Greener. It's only because his name delights me. Then why is he not green? Why did he not pick the color green? Just say. Just say. Something's going on here. As the Marine does shut down the probe, it's going to be an economic opener. It's going to be a ranks expand at a Greenert. Is going to be economic. Meanwhile, across the map, a Trap opening up standard. Just going for a gate cyber into Nexus. We'll see where Greenert does take this, as we do have a factory follow-up. So no 2-1-1 or no 3 racks either. Going for something a lot more standard. Let's go. Now, the downside here is that Greenert has 0 scouting capability at the moment. So there was no SCV scout, there was no Reaper scout. We did go Marine first. So Greenert is going to be a little bit in the dark, at least initially. And we have our tech of choice. Twilight Council. Twilight Council on the way. He's just feeling a bit pale. That's why he isn't exactly green. Oh, no. Green, take care of yourself, Pappy. Take care of yourself. Pappy. A little bit under the weather. As it is going to be our 1-1-1. Now, because Greenert is playing blindly and is unaware of what's going on, Cyclone does make a lot of sense. Cyclone does keep us a little bit safer against Phoenixes, against Oracles. Likewise, we do have a massive amount of Marines as well. So for now, we're just covering our bases and playing safe. Back at home, Blink is on the way. And the question becomes, how many gateways? How many gateways for Trap? For now, we have 2. Do we go up to 3? Do we go up to 4? Oh, we're going at least up to 3. 3 gates on the way. This will give Trap a lot of map control. It is a very safe way to open up, as we're going to have an abundance of Stalkers to work with. Greenert does move out for map control. And Trap is at the Zelnaga, going for the Cyclone. The Cyclone! Ooh, takes a lot of damage. Takes a lot of hits, but alas, Greenert does pull away. Does a pull back. Here in the main ways, get behind this, working towards drop play. Manufacturing production, additional Cyclones. Tech Labs on the way. This should be for tank production. As Trap maintains control of the Zelnaga. And Greenert is moving out with that drop. I'm curious if he tries to bypass the Zelnaga or try to actually get control of it. And it looks like control is what we're going for. Now, he should be able to, but the downside here is that now Trap is fully aware. He sees the medevac, he sees the Marines, sees the Cyclones, and it should be warping in back at home. Stalkers are getting ready. And Blink is done. Blink has completed. We pick away at the Marines. Cyclones to do a lot in the back line. They do get a couple of lock-ons, and one Stalker going to be going down. Stalker does fall, but we did bleed out a lot of Marines, and here come the reinforcements. And here come the remaining Stalkers. And we're going to clean this up. We're going to shut down the Marines. We do pick away. We do get away with one of those Cyclones, just barely. Did I speak too soon? Get out of here. Bruce is on cooldown, and it looks like Trap will hunt it down. The medevac and the Cyclone as well. Oof. Rough losses. Back at home, Greenert is expanding, taking a third CC. Getting into tanks. The first tank is out, but we're not ready. The tank, no, the tank is unsieged. And we just blink in. We just blink into the natural. SCVs are going down. Tank will siege up at the ramp, but cannot cover the mineral line. And the base is under fire. There was no bunker. There was no tank setup. Second tank does arrive, and we can force this back. Oh my god, that tank is so low. Oh, he wants it! Trappy threw away 2 Stalkers, but he does get the tank. A bit of a costly trade there, but probably worth it. Tank goes down, back at home, third base getting saturated, would be fourth on the way. We're going for a Gateway Explosion to massive charge lot. Trap is settling into the mid-game, and Greenert is getting there. Does survive, doesn't lose too many SCVs. That was 8 workers going down. And he does have a third CC. I mean, what I will say is that so far, Greenert, he is holding his own a little bit more so than the previous Terran player, than Bulgum. He's going to be able to survive on 2 bases and work towards a third, that is true. But we're stuck on 2 bases, this is a problem. We have no pushing power. We lost our Medivacs. We are getting into tank production, but we have no stim. We have no way to really break out. Not yet. Not until these upgrades kick in. I'm referring to stim and combat shields. I'm referring to our bio upgrades that we are still working towards. Meanwhile, Trap rotating around, threatening a dive. Tank not quite in position. Oof, can we get into the main? We get into the main base. Combat shields has begun. Still no stim. And we can try to catch some of these stalkers. Oh, tank volley goes off, but the last stalkers do get away. Not bad. 4 SCV kills. I'm still waiting for stim. I'm a little bit anxious. Without that upgrade, like again, this bio army is gonna be that much weaker. There we go. Stim has now begun. Getting to stim. Third base now being taken. Nice tank setup as well. Will allow us to take that third. But back at home, Trap has been freely mining on 3 bases. Fourth is fully saturated as well. And now we're moving out. So we're moving out with a massive Gateway army. Colossus are on the way. Dark Shrine gets thrown down. We don't even need the Dark Shrine. I'll be honest with you. We don't need it. But anytime Dark Shrine. And Trap is moving out. Ooh, Stim is not done. We cannot do this. No shot. Greenert, he moves out and he's gonna get shut down. Oh my god, there's no way out of this. There's only 1 Medivac. We have combat shields, but again, yeah, this is gonna be a brutal loss here for Greenert. It's gonna lose every single bio unit. And back at home, what do we have left? We have tanks, we have a handful of Marines, handful of Marauders. That was a brutal loss here for our Terran player, and now we're vulnerable. Now we barely have anything to defend. We have a lot of Widow Mines, but we're gonna force some friendly fire. Oof. The Widow Mines gonna be cleaned up. Tanks as well. We're breaking through. And Greenert just does not have enough to hold on. And pulling some of the ways, blinking into the main base. GG gets called, and Trap will take game number 1. GG. Once again, a solid game there out of Trap. Shout out to Greenert. Again, he was able to hold his zone for the time being, or at least initially. Taking some SCV losses here and there. Unfortunately, he was contained. That was the big problem. His build overall was a little bit delayed as well, just because of the, or I should say, it was disrupted because of the aggression of Trap. Because of that, the upgrades were later than they should have been. Likewise, third base a little bit later as well. Greenert was having a bit of a harder time getting into the mid game there. I mean, but he was getting there. Was getting there. With that, GG, Trap does take a lead. And now we're getting ready for game number 2. Getting ready for game 2. Looks like we do have some other updates in the bracket. Quickly going over them. Lunacy versus Rebellion did conclude. And Rebellion gets a 2-0. Rebellion now up against Classic in the quarterfinals. That means the entirety of the round of 16 has wrapped up. And now the quarterfinals are underway. And we'll try to catch another quarterfinals match after this series. Try to get there. Here we go. As you can hear the beeps, we have our lobby, we have our map. It's going to be Oceanborn. That's game 2. Let's go. Let us go. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our Canadian Terran player down to the series, but looking and hoping to bounce back and to force the ace match. It is a Canadian Terran player. It is Greenert. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss, the red Protoss player representing Gen G Esports. It is Trap. We go, and hello, Mr. SCV. Where are we going? Oh, he's moving out with a friend. Let's go. Greenert, you know what? He's cast aside this facade of macro. He's like, Papi, I'm an NA Terran. Let's NA it up. Let's go. Going for a proxy 2 Rax. We have a second Rax on the way. Greenert is going to be doubling down here on the aggression. And Trap is scouting. Trap, he checks the triangular third base. He's checking the linear third base as well. So Trap is being careful. He's making sure he's secure, but he does not check further than that, so he will not find the proxy. Trap was playing safe, but still does not find it. So Raxes are finishing up. Pro moving out, going to be scouting across the map. We'll confirm that the Rax is missing. Now this Rax could be hidden back further in the main, it could be hidden at the natural, so Trap still has to confirm what's going on. Does realize Rax is missing, does check the corner of the main base, just in case. And it's going to be Proxy 2 Rax Marauder. Okay. Proxy Marauder at a Greenert. This can hit like a truck. This can be brutal. Trap already has a piece of the puzzle. Going Zealot first. Ooh. Cancel the Zealot, going for the Stalker. Bold move. Does go for the Stalker. Shield battery on the way. Trap, he's taking this seriously. We have a safety shield battery in the main base. Going for a Robo Opener before expansion. Very safe. Okay. Trap, he's getting ready. Now, essentially, with this Robo Opener, Immortal. Immortal production is going to be available, and Immortals, they will shut these Marauders down. Trap has control of the high ground. Marauders are moving out. We have 2, soon to be 4. We have some SCVs to tank some shots. And again, Trap, he's just so safe, so secure. Second gateway's on the way. Greenert does confirm the expansion is missing. There is no Nexus. And with the help of the shield battery, yeah, we're holding on. The Stalkers, they take 0 damage. And we have an overcharge as well. Do have the overcharge back at home. You can see Trap, he's scouting, he's checking to see, do you transition, do you throw it in the factory, do you expand? What do you do? What is the plan for Greenert? For now, he's doubling down. See, the real Chad move here is you pull the boy. He's going into Stim. Okay. Stim is on the way. Bunker as well outside of the natural. Do we try to contain? Do we try to expand? That'll be crazy. Bunker's under fire. Oh, we have the repair. Let's go. Our boy drilling the SCV. Oh, but the Immortal has arrived. And we can target down the Marauders one after the other. And the Bunker, it's not going to finish. I mean, even if it does, it can be focused down as well. Yeah, we force a salvage. Marauder's going to be chased back. The plans of Greenert, now in shambles. It's not going to work out. Trap can now expand. And we are looking for the proxy, and we will find it. Oh, Stim is not going to finish. No, we snipe Stim. Yeah, Stim is denied. Back at home, we have a factory on the way. We're again trying to transition. Bunker has been thrown down as well, but we barely have a standing army. Marines are racing back. We will clean this up. Yeah, sniping both tech labs before moving out to leave the racks for the time being because we're going for the kill. We're going across the map with everything we have. We have a Stalkers, we have the Marauder, we have the Immortal. Prism is out as well. So we can juggle into the main. We can avoid the bunker. We can just avoid it entirely. Greenert getting ready. Second bunker at the Reaper Cliff. CC's on the way. We just drop in. We do just drop in. Yeah, warping in right into the main as well. The bunker will not complete. The boys are being pulled, and we do have a handful of Marines, but they are vanilla Marines. There's no stim, there's no combat shields, there's no upgrades. I mean, there's Concussive Shell, but we have no Marauders remaining. Cyclone doing what they can. The boys, they arrive, they surround the army. They're going to be able to force the pickup. They force back Trap, but it's going to be at a cost. 12 SCV kills. Oof, and a delay on the CC. And Trap, he can back off, he can reinforce, and do that again. Rotating over. Now within range of the depots. Depots are going to be going down. Oh, no, we force field the Cyclone. Cyclone does fall as well. A brutal force field. Trap, calm down. Cyclone falls. We clean up all the depots. Doesn't quite supply block green arts, but we're getting there. And the bunker soon thereafter. No SCVs, no repair. We don't really have the money to repair. We have to pull the voids. That's all we can do. That's all we have left. Send it, Bobby. We force field the ram. We slice up the armor. We can focus on the SCVs. And deal with the Cyclones later. Another big warp in. GG gets called and Trap will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Trap as he will claim the series. But a shout out to Green Arts because, hey, he was able to show us a bit of a wider array of play here. We had a little bit more of a solid or more of a mech-oriented game in Game 1, and then we had some cheese here in Game 2 going Proxy Marauder. Unfortunately, Trap did take him very seriously. Trap didn't even scout the proxy, didn't really confirm what was going on, but he was so quick to react with the shield battery, with the Robo, with the Immortal, with the second gateway as well. Trap was playing very safe against Green Earth, and did shut him down. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. Now Trap is going to be our first semi-finalist, and the question becomes, who does he face off against? Who does he play? Let's find out. Let us find out. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys wish to have a look at the back yourselves. Let us head on over, and we have Trap, the first player in the semifinals. He's waiting for the winner of Classic and Rebellion, so it's going to be a PvP in the upper semis. Meanwhile, Bjorn and Honmono are duking it out in a Terran versus Terran. They're currently facing off in a TVT. Likewise, we have Ordinary versus Creator, also in a PvP as well. So, you know, we tried intentionally so to avoid the mirror matchups for as long as we could. We could only do it for so long, as now we have mirror matchups. We have PvPs and TVTs all around. Now we have a Protoss confirmed for the finals. Trap, Classic, and Rebellion. They're all Protoss players. One of them will make it to the upper finals, or to the finals. Lower bracket has a little bit more variety. Has some Terrans and Protosses duking it out. There is potential for that to go either way. And I guess for now we have some downtime. We have a little bit of downtime here. We're waiting for a series to open up. We will try to focus on Classic versus Rebellion and try to follow that into Trap, just so we can have, you know, a little bit of a cohesion in our broadcast here and have things make sense. But we might jump into some of the lower matches if they open up. Meanwhile, quickly having a look at some of the other streams. We do have some of the English streams going on, and I'm curious where they are. Curious what is being casted. Okay, so we have Chicken Man. He's casting Creator versus Ordinary. He's covering the PvP. They're in Game 1. Meanwhile, Dave was casting Classic versus Rebellion, and Upper Semis is ready. Classic takes the series. Classic takes down Rebellion, and you can see it on the screen right now. But Classic takes down Rebellion 2-0, and that means we have our next series. It's going to be Classic versus Trap. Oh boy. We have our first semifinals ready for us. Videos on the way, and then we'll be jumping in. Now, if this upper semis is fast enough, we can jump into the lower semifinals as well. Can jump into the lower semis. So we could just have the best of both worlds. Both semifinals. Let's go. And I believe Steadfast is covering the TVT. Steadfast, he's covering Honmono versus Beyond. So again, we might be able to catch the winner of that series up against the winner of Creator and Ordinary as well. Could get there. Show pants. Leave my pants alone. They're nowhere to be found. Ay, ay, ay. But yeah, for now, it looks like our players need a little bit of time to get their vetoes going. And once they are done, we can jump in. Oh, they're bantering a little bit. Classic. He said, "I see you often," and then Trap was like, "We play every day." I guess they quite frequently face off in these online tournaments. But we're going to be going on a short break. Vetoes are currently occurring, and it looks like our players are asking for a break as well. When we return, we will have the PvP. We'll have you ready. See you soon. welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semifinals of the Korean StarCraft League, the KSL week number 56. We're here, we are back with our PvP, our first semifinals of the night. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden R, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss representing Twisted Minds. It is Classic. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the other South Korean Protoss, the Red Protoss representing Gen G Esports. It is a Trap. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. The Gamba is upon us. Place your bets on who you think will claim this PvP. So far, the round 16 and the quarterfinals have been a little bit more favored. One side or the other have been a little bit more one-sided, but this time I imagine an ace match. I imagine this is going to be a much closer series to call. So best of luck in the chat for who you think will claim this. Will it be Classic or Trap? This could go either way. Now, I did mention before that Trap did defeat Classic earlier this week. That is true. If you remember, Trap took down Classic in Kung Fu Cup. That was a couple of days ago in the KFC, and Trap was able to have a dominant performance in that tournament. We'll see if Classic can get his revenge. Can he get it? For now, two-gate opener out of Trap. Classic going for a gate expand. Okay. Classic doing his best Max Packs impression. It's going to be a gateway into the Cybercore, into a Stargate, into the expansion. It was a double gas opener. This means that we're going for a Stargate first, followed by the Nexus, but a much more economic opener out of Classic. And Trap goes for a fake Proxy Pylon. Ooh, okay, interesting. Now, Classic is aware. He scouts, he's aware that the pylon is missing. He's aware that the pylon is nowhere to be found, and is it real or is it a fake? Trap is hoping to force an overreaction. As Trap has not actually scouted, he doesn't really know what Classic is up to. For now, Trap is in the dark. Opening up double Stalker, a bit of a more assertive start here from Trap. Probe coming in for a scout, will be able to confirm the opener of Classic. And we'll see if Trap does double down. I mean, now we don't really have too much of an option to commit to an all-in. I mean, I guess we could throw down another pylon for another proxy. Probe does confirm. Probe is too late to block, and the Nexus is on the way. So Trappy's now aware of how greedy Classic has been, and how do we respond? For now, double Stalker into a third and fourth Stalkers. We're going to be applying a lot of pressure here with Stalkers early on as they're moving out across the map. And behind this, we should be either expanding or throwing down tech. Does Trap go for the all-in? Does he double down? He's expanding. Never mind. Trap is going to be expanding. He was banking resources. Nexus is on the way. So Trap is going for a bit of a later expansion. He's going to try to hunt down that Adept. Taking a lot of damage. Shading towards the ramp. And we barely miss it. In a way. There we go, we do have our Stalkers. They're going to be able to step forward, and they focus down the Adept. It does fall. Oracle's on the way. Trap should be aware of the Stargate. Didn't see it, but is quite familiar with this build, I'm sure. And is getting into the main. Trap is ready for the Oracle aggression. Oracle dipping in, gets a probe. Back at him, Classic opening up, following up with a Void Ray. Classic did scout the expansion, but this is a very safe maneuver. We don't often need the Void Ray, but especially if it's not an all-in, does invest. We'll see if it pays off. Both players taking it to their Twilight Councils. Classic does maintain an economic lead as he can make 2 probes at a time. So a nice start so far for Classic. Void Ray is scouted. Trap is now aware. He does respond. Trying to keep up with Classic. As Classic rotates over, hits the natural. Oh, gets a probe. Ooh, gets a worker, but takes a lot of hold damage on that Oracle. Void Ray does go for the first rank alignment. Doesn't get the Stalker. Up! I will. We'll get the Stalker, but it's going to pay a massive price for it as the Void Ray is barely going to go down. Yeah, another worthwhile trade for Classic. A little bit too greedy, a little bit too ambitious there. Trading a Void Ray for a Stalker, better trade for Trap. Oracle pinned back, only 2 probe kills so far. And Trap is defending well. Behind this, expanding. Taking the third base, so is Classic. Both players take their thirds. Bearing in mind, even though Classic has not been trading well with his initial Skytoss units, still has that worker lead. Because of the faster expansion, Classic still has that economic edge. So you could make an argument that he can afford some of these losses. It's still okay. Now we're expanding, building up the Stalkers, Blinkers on the way for both players, Forge for Classic for upgrades. Meanwhile, Robo for Trap can get into slightly earlier Immortal production, which is safety observers. Trap moving out. Tiles fan out his units. We have Stalkers on the right. We have Adepts towards the left. A Blink is done. We can go into the main. The stasis. Oh, we do spot the stasis. It is baited out. And Stalkers, they bust into the main. They will get some economic damage. Probes are falling. Stalkers, though, they come in for a surround. Maybe force a recall. One Stalker gets picked off. Just the one. At the same time, Adepts, they hit the third base, and we are getting so much economic damage. We get 8 probe kills. 8 probes go down with that. Trap now takes a worker lead. Nice damage. Now, the downside here is that Classic has the Stalker lead. And he may have lost a lot of workers, but the army for Classic is looking that much more terrifying. Also has a lead with +1, moving out across the map. And Classic is setting up for his own counterattack, and Trap is out of position. Oh, we're out of position, and we can dive into the main. Go for a massive link. We focus on the pylons. We get 1, we get 2. 2 pylons go down. We snipe at least the Oracle, but still, good pickups. Delaying reinforcements. 4th Nexus on the way for Classic. He force fields the... Oh my god! He force fields the natural. Does force field with one-shotting Stalkers. The shield battery does nothing. And finally coming into play. The shield battery gets depowered, and Classic, a really nice counterattack here. Picks off pylons, picks off Stalkers. Let's get some nice damage, and Classic is catching back up. Getting his 4th, Trap that much behind. Slightly behind here in that 4th timing. It's still a bit hard to call. I do want to give the edge to Classic. After that counterattack, he's able to maintain the Stalker lead. Getting into Immortals, and so is his opponent. And we're taking up into Charge Lots and Archons as well. So we're working on our next step. Refining our armies. Getting into +2, and we're backing off. We're going to be backing up, getting into our 4 base setup. So we're going to be entering a bit of a lull period. We had a really intense couple of minutes. We're calming down, taking a breather. And most likely won't be moving out until we have our Archons. The War Prism here for Trap will signify aggression. It's like, okay, once we have it, we can move out, we can reinforce. Archons are now on the way, so it looks like Trap is going to be the first to push. Meanwhile, Classic still building up. Doesn't have Archons yet. Never mind. Prism coming back to join up the main army of Classic. I am a little bit concerned of the lack of Archons. Trap is moving out. There we go. First Archons on the way. 1 Archon for Classic. Is that going to be enough? Meanwhile, it looks like you may have caught a glimpse of that Prism. Never mind. Zella checks his Onaga, and we just got the Prism. Prism is spotted. Main armies are about to clash. And Trap going to be reinforcing. The Prism is caught out. Yeah, massive snipe. War Prism does fall. Trap pulling back to his cannon. Same time we force field in these Zealots. Zealots are going to be going down. The Archons, they go to town. We clean up the Zealots, are breaking on through. And Trap does take the fight. He can focus on the Immortals. He gets one. Now there's two left. Now there's one left. And Trap, he takes the dominant fight here. Is breaking through. We have behind this shield battery. We have an overcharge. And that's good, but it's not going to be enough. Not against 3 Immortals. And Classic caught with his pants down. Was not ready for this. Boys are being pulled, and that's going to help for a moment. But nice juggling here on a Trap. As he will overwhelm Classic, gets the final Immortal, and GG gets caught. Trap takes a lead. Whew. GG. Again, Classic, he only had the one Archon. Not just that, but his army positioning wasn't ideal either. The force fields were brutal as we were able to clean up initially all the Zealots of Classic, and then deal with the rest of the army. Classic was picked apart there, and Trap just had a really solid engagement there towards the end of the game. Even though both armies were quite comparable with each other, the execution of the fight was better for Trap. Was in favor of Trap, and with that, Trap takes a lead, and now we're jumping into game number 2. Let's go. Jumping into that second game. Can we bounce back? Can we force an ace match? Or will Trap make it to the grand finals? We are here to find out. As we will be jumping in. Here we go. You can hear the beeps. Game 2 is going to be on Amphion. Oh boy. Here we go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Amphion, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, down in this series, looking to bounce back and force the ace match. Representing Twisted Minds, it is a Classic. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean the other South Korean Protoss, the Red Protoss, representing Genji Esports. It is a Trap. Go. We are settling in. Oh, wait, it's Amphion. No, we're loading into Amphion. What does that mean? That means gate expands. That means we're setting up for gate expands. That means that Phoenix play is going to be quite viable. Now, before we embrace Phoenixism, if we embrace Phoenix Wars, Classic time and time again has shown us that he is willing to deviate and go into Blink Stalkers and try to break out of Phoenix Wars. So we have the potential for that once we get into the swing of things. For those that are curious what I'm on about, basically on a map like Amphion, Side Delta, and Post Youth, we have a ramp. We have a ramp leading to the natural. That means that it is commonplace, it is meta, it is the known thing to do to go for more economic openers. As this ramp provides a very defensive advantage, it makes it difficult to go for a one base all in, so we can take the risk. Gateway into Cybercore, into Nexus. Now Classic opens up double gas, Trap, later second gas. What that means is that Trap ideally was hoping for a faster Nexus. This second gas is delayed, which means the Stargate is going to be delayed. But both players, their goal here is to delay that expansion for as long as they can, going for those pylon blocks as often as possible. And because of all these pylon blocks, we should be forcing out those Stargates. But again, Classic is going to be slightly faster with the faster gas. As both players are patrolling, there it is, a Stargate on the way for Classic, Stargate on the way for Trap, and the Phoenix Wars have begun. They've begun, but we can try to break away from that. I mentioned before that we have seen Classic time and time again deviate away from Phoenixes and eventually try to get into Blink Stalkers, but for now it's too early to tell. For now, it is Phoenix Wars. what I'm getting at as well is, because both players scout each other's Stargates, neither player can go Oracle, because if one player goes Oracle, the other player goes Phoenix, then you lose the Oracle, and that's almost game then and there. So we're kind of forced and locked into this position where we have to make Phoenixes, otherwise we lose. And it is hard to break out of that. It is difficult. As Phoenixes are on the way. The initial gateway units are going to be clashing. Classic taking a lot of damage on that attempt. It does take a lot of hits. Likewise, Zealot as well. So nice earlier trade here for Trap. As Phoenixes are moving out. Adept trying to shade in. Is denied. A quick movement there by Trap. And we shouldn't be able to get too much done here. Both players, they lift their opposing Adepts. Adepts are going to be cleaned up. And from here, we should be working towards a second Stargate. There it is. Second Stargate's on the way for both players. Okay, yeah, okay. You know, the coping is over. You know, I was like, oh, maybe Classic will try to go into Blink Stalkers. No. The cope is over. It's all about the Phoenixes, back. We are embracing the Phoenix Wars. Let's go. Now, it is difficult to be aggressive early on with Phoenixes. If you lose a Phoenix at the start early on, then it very quickly snowballs out of control. You can be down one Phoenix, and that will cost you a fight. That will cost you the game. So risky move here out of Trap. He does slip into the main. Gets one probe, gets two probes. Let's get the hell out of here. Has to race on out. Classic trying to intercept. Does attempt the intercept, and oh, gets the first shot off. And Classic does shoot first. A fourth Phoenix has arrived. But again, this is not a fight that Trap can take. He has to get the hell out of here. His Phoenixes are bruised. That much more than Classic's. He's crazy, trying to camp the production as well. Trap, calm down. One wrong move, and that can cost you the entire game here. More Phoenixes are amassing. Again, Classic has the defender's advantage. Oh, we try to catch out one of the Phoenixes. Classic gets caught out! He gets caught out of position, and Classic's gonna lose everything. Yeah, the Phoenixes will fall. Yeah, 3 versus 2, and Trap does get the better trade. Oof. So nice movement here out of Trap. It was very risky. Does take the better fight. Classic, meanwhile. Trap, we have to calm down. We cannot take this. Yeah, Trap misjudging the situation, bleeds out a Phoenix. Trap has no chill. He's still in his face. Oh my god. Despite being down a Phoenix, yeah, he cannot take this. Does try to reinforce once again. Again, Trap, he's been down a Phoenix and he's gonna lose everything. He's been down a Phoenix this entire time and he's being overwhelmed, and yeah, just overly aggressive here. Trap at losing everything. And I'm afraid to look at the unit count here, but Trap, he's got 2 Phoenixes against the 5 of Classic. And this is how quickly things can snowball out of control. One bad fight, and that could be it. Trap now has to fight with the help of shield batteries and cannons. No shield battery, no cannon, no overcharge. Classic can now freely move out across the map. He can game the production, and that's going to be game. Is game of the production. Every Phoenix will fall. We have 4-1. Trap trying to buy some time. But yeah, there's no coming back from this. GG gets called, and Classic will tap the series 1-1, forcing the ace match. GG. Mate, Trap was insane. He was doing everything you should not in Phoenix Wars, and it was kind of paying off a little bit. But Trap got a little bit too excited there. You know, the initial fight did go the way of Trap, where he was able to catch Classic a bit out of position. That did occur initially, and then from there we needed to back off and calm down. But no, Trap was just in Classic's face and was punished real hard. The problem with being aggressive like that when you have such close Phoenix counts is that because your opponent has defender's advantage, that means that Phoenix is reinforced that much faster. So even if you're maybe even or slightly ahead in Phoenixes, that can turn on a dime. That can just go south real quick there because of the production of your opponent. So yeah, that was insane. That was insane. GG, well played. Trap punished for his aggressiveness, and now we're getting into Game 3. Oh boy. We're getting into game number 3 here. It all ends here. It all ends on post-youth. And the question becomes, do we see that again? What I'm referring to post-youth is another map that has a ramp leading into the natural. What I will say though, post-youth is a little bit more unique. The ramp is quite narrow at the main because of your in-base natural base, which means we could actually cut some corners and be even greedier here. I'm referring to a single gas opener. We'll see if that's the case. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of post-youth, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Twisted Minds. It is Classic. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Gen G Esports, being forced into the ace match. We'll see if we can bring it back. It is Trap. Here we go. Trap trying to out-control and out-micro Classic in that last game, trying to rely on his control, and alas, did not quite work out. Nexus first! He's crazy! Okay, I spoke about how greedy you can be on post-youth, and we are going straight up Nexus first from the side of Classic. Trap, it looks like he's going for a gate expand. I expect Trap to stay on one gas. He doesn't need a second gas, guys, but Classic, he just does one better. This is the greediest opener you can go for in a PvP from the side of Classic. Straight up just Nexus into Pylon. But you can do this. You can get away with this on this map. The Probe Scout does confirm just how early that Nexus is. So much greed out of Classic, delaying his gases for so long. And now it's on Trap to punish. Trap does open double gas. Oof. Okay. Double gas opener out of Trap, which means we can actually proxy Immortal. Let's go! We're proxying. We're going all in. Trap, he sees how greedy Classic has been, and he's like, no shot, no way. He scouts. Oh, he misses. Classic, he checks, and he barely does not see that pylon. He was so close, 1 hex to the right. Oh my god. I mean, regardless, he's walling off. Double gates, getting into his gases. Classic is not fully aware what's going on, and bearing in mind, Classic did not probe scout. He is unaware of the build that Trap is going for. And there it is. Stargate in the face of his opponent. Do we just go proxy Void Ray? I would imagine so. Just double down to go proxy Void. We'll see. We'll see if it's going to be Void Ray or Oracle. Either one would make sense. Oracle could just wreak havoc and just eviscerate the economy. Zealot has arrived. Behind this, we have our Cybercore on the way. 2 gates. This should lead into Stalker production. Pylon is under fire. That is a bit of an Artosis Pylon. Shield battery on the way. Pylon taking a lot of damage. Uh-oh. He is taking a lot of hits. Zealot's going to go down. Pylon under fire. There we go. Backup Pylon on the way. That Pylon is getting low. It's going to go down. Ooh, the Pylon will fall. Yeah. Sentry does come out. Ooh, and that's going to depower all the production. Meanwhile, Void Rays are on the way, and the Sentry does scout. Sentry does confirm. And now we have a wall of shield batteries. Shield batteries, another gateway. Everything's repowered. More shield batteries on the way. And the Void Rays are upon us. Let's go. Not the most common proxy that you see here. Proxy Void Ray in PvP. But the shield batteries are not ready. Stalker coming in. We activate prismatic alignments. We chase down the Stalker. And we can go for the probe kills. Alas, Void Rays don't have the highest amount of DPS. As we try to focus on the shield battery, but the initial shield battery is done. Classic is holding initially. Does hold, but we have shield batteries on the way. Let's go. Shield battery versus shield battery. Who's going to win? I mean, Classic has an overcharge. Bear that in mind. Does have an overcharge available. That is a factor. We can take down the gateway, though. The gateway can be abused. Void Ray taking a lot of damage. Do throw down the force field. Shield battery is now done. Overcharge is popped. Can we save the gateway? We barely can. Overcharge is a powerful tool here. Does keep the gateway alive. Stalker's rotating. Oh, the Void Ray getting very low. Void Ray is low. And Classic is buying a lot of time. I mean, he's got quite a large Stalker force, and I think he can hold on. But we're up to 3 Void Rays. Yeah, the DPS is getting higher and higher for Trap. Breaking into the main base. Overcharge on cooldown. We do focus down one of the Void Rays. Points are being pulled. Oh, second Void Ray goes down. There's one left. One of Void Ray does remain. And oh, can we get it? Oh, we can. Just barely. We lose every single Void Ray, and Classic is holding. He's holding on, Pappy. We're getting on top of the shield batteries as well, and Trap, he's running out of steam. He's running out of units. His shield batteries were just 1 second too late. And now Classic is breaking out. He's breaking out of his own main. Chasing down those Stalkers. They're getting punished a little bit here. Void Ray has arrived, but we can focus on the shield batteries. One of them goes down, so does the second. And GG gets called. Classic, he shuts down the all-in, and Classic will take the win. Will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Classic will take it. Trap, I mean, did attempt a response there with the counter all-in against the greed of Classic, but Proxy Void Ray is not seen too often, and again, we weren't quite able to snowball out of control with it. The first Void Ray took a lot of damage. Was down to, what, less than half HP before the first shield battery did complete, so some really rough, in a way, losses early on for Trap. Did lose a lot of momentum early on as well. And Classic was able to chase Trap down and eventually overwhelm. GG. GG, well played. Solid defense there out of Classic. And now we're getting ready for the grand finals. We're getting ready for the grand finals. It is going to be it is going to be a TVP between Classic and Beyond. Fun fact, the lower semifinals were even faster. The lower semifinals, they were even faster than our series. Beyond takes out Creator 2-0. Fun fact, they ended before we even started our ace match. Like, that's how fast that series was, and our matches weren't even like our games weren't even that long. Like, we didn't really have too much macro there. I mean, game 1 was, you know, 3-base. We had some 3-base play. True, we were getting into our 4th, but we had some fast games. So shout out to Beyond and Creator. I don't know what occurred. I don't know what happened in that series, but it was a fast one. Beyond did take it, and now we're getting ready for the grand finals. Getting ready for the finals. Here we go. Getting into those finals between Classic and Beyond. It's going to be a best of 5. Bear that in mind. And today's broadcast was a little bit faster. We had a lot of just fast series. And again, we were missing quite a lot of players as well. There are some of them that are focusing on EWC, players like players like Hero, players like Cure. But yeah, really interesting to see. Interesting to see that we didn't have any Zerg representation this week. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. But it looks like our players need some time. Our players need a little bit of time here to prepare. Oh, never mind. Vetoes are done. Vetoes are done, and we're jumping into our grand finals. Let's go. Go. We're getting into those grand finals. Beyond and Classic are getting ready. And game 1 is going to be on Crimson Court. Off race? No shot. No shot. Are we... Is this happening? We'll see. Classic has picked Terran. Are we gonna commit, or is he AFK? No shot. Do we just get nothing? Do we get a mirror match at finals? I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see, Pat. I'm waiting to see. Okay. We're good. Okay. Classic. He switched to Protoss. He was stuck on Terran for a while though. You had to think about that one. You had to think. Okay, we're good. We are good to go. I was scared for a moment. But no off racing. No off racing. We're good. We are loading again. If you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will be this week's KSL champion. Will it be our Protoss or our Terran? Up to you to decide. Up to you to make that claim. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Crimson Court, we have our South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Bian. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Twisted Minds. It is Classic. Here we go. We have our TVP. We have our Grand Finals. Had quite an array of Protoss and Terran sign up here. We had quite an array of players. We had Creator, we had Trap, we had Hot Mono, we had Rebellion, Luna Sea. But alas, we've come down to these two final players. And honestly, this could go either way. I would be shocked if this was a 3-0 in either direction. I expect a 3-1, maybe even an ace match. Let's see how this does turn out. We can see Classic checking for a proxy. Checks the third base location first before moving out across the map. The upside of this map is that there's only one third location to check. Like, there's no other really proxy location. That's why proxies are a little bit less common on this map. It's easier to scout. As Classic is moving out across the map. Meanwhile, back at home, going for a gate cyber expand. Standard opener out of Classic. And it's going to be double gas out of Björn. Okay, Classic does confirm. Double gas means faster factory. Means delayed CC. The factory has been thrown down. Now this can lead into a couple of different things. Could be a mine drop, could be a cyclone drop, could be a tank banshee, which we did see earlier today against Trap. Keep an eye on Björn. Could even just be Reaper Hellion, as the first Reaper is moving out, going for the reactor behind this. Reaper be zooming across enough to scout to get a read on what's going on, to ideally get an eye on the tech as well, whether it's Twilight Council, Stargate, or Robo, yet to be determined. Beyond wants to know. Heal Zerg, man. Smurge, man. And we have our tech of choice. It's going to be a Twilight Council. Okay. Reaper dips in. Twilight Council's on the way. And Björn is in the dark. We do get a surround with the Adept, so we shut down the Reaper. Yeah, the Reaper is caught out. A nice defense here applied. Classic denies the scout, keeps his tech hidden. And back at home, Björn has to play it safe. Going from Reactor to Cyclone. That I was not expecting. Okay. Wait. Whoa, hold on. That is reacted Cyclone into a second Rax. Do we see a third Rax as well? This is looking very committed. Insanely. Are we rushing to Stim? Oh my god. Devs, they do hit the natural base. They delay the CC. At the same time, they get eyes on the Cyclones. And show us that Stim. Show us that upgrade. Or do we go for the add-on swap? There it is. Stim is on the way. This looks like a 2-base all-in. Straight up. This looks like a 2-base all-in out of Beyond. Looks like he wants to double down here with Cyclones, Marines, Stim, third Rax, and we can pull the boys with this. Assuming that a third Rax gets thrown down. We'll still keep an eye on Beyond. But hyper aggression nonetheless. Going for the add-on swap. Prioritizing Marines. Okay, starport's on the way. Okay, so it's not going to be a 3-1-1. It's going to be a 2-1-1 variation. Interesting. So you rarely see this in TVP, but we're going for an add-on top for Medivacs. This is not an all-in, but it is still going to be committed as Cyclones. Oh, they hit the natural. They take down the Adept. They threaten the Stalkers. Blink is not done. A Stalker goes down, and Classic's in trouble. Classic's in a lot of trouble. This quadruple Cyclone push is catching him off guard. Overcharge is popped. Oh, we up. Don't quite get the Cyclone. We do hold. Classic is holding. There's the add-on assault for medevac production. Tanks behind this as well. And again, beyond, he's going for a 16 Marine stim timing with a double medevac drop. This is the build often seen against Zerg, not against Protoss. But we do have Cyclones to support as well, so there's a little bit more flair to this as well. A little bit more DPS. And we'll see if Classic can keep up. Back at home, it was 3 gates in the main. It's 4-gate Blink! 4-gate Blink out of Classic. I do think I favor Classic a little bit more, but Sim is done. Shade does confirm. Let's get our Cyclones. We Sim in. Also, we Blink forward, which means we can just Sim and punish this. Oh my god, this was not the Blink to go for. We lose so many Stalkers. And can we snipe that Prism? It's so low. Ay, ay, ay. Classic, he didn't know what he was blinking into. He had no idea. The Blink was punished. We go for another warp in. Rotating over towards the main. Tank does siege. And Beyond does reposition. Tank volley goes off. Another tank volley as well. Classic has to get the hell out of here. Beyond does defend. Now, there's a bit of a give and take here. Although on one side, Classic, he lost how many Stalkers? 7. Oof. 7 Stalkers went down, which is brutal. The upside, as we do scout the drop, Classic is aware. The upside, though, is that he did clean up a lot of those Marines, and it means that that double medevac timing is now a singular medevac. So Beyond doesn't really have that much to harass. Likewise, Classic gets 5 more SCVs. Some decent economic damage. Beyond moving out. Observer does spot the drop. Do we have a warp in? Oh, we have a recall. We do recall in time. No shield battery. Marines do stim in. We go for the medevac. Medevac goes down. We get 2, 3 Stalker kills. The Prism goes down as well. Honestly, really efficient trade. Marines get cleaned up, but that was what? 4 Stalkers and a Prism? Not bad. Not a bad trade for Beyond. Now we're getting ready for our second wave, for our second push, this time with tanks. The Observer does spot the move outs. Classic is aware. Classic is aware. Getting ready back at home, knocking down those rocks. Making it a little bit easier to defend both locations. But the boys have been pulled. The 2-base all-in is here. The boys have been pulled. It's all or nothing for Beyond. Tanks are sieging up, and he's going for the kill. All or nothing. One way or another, the game is about to end. Either Beyond kills Classic or he dies trying. As the boys are here. Zealots from behind. Ooh, they don't quite commit in. We punish Zealots. The surround is denied. Nice force fields. SCVs are trickling in. Tanks are slowly pushing forward. Meanwhile, more reinforcements on the way. Bunkers being thrown down, but that's a lot of Zealots. We're coming in from behind. As Zealots, they collapse on the army. They get on top of the tanks. Tanks are going down. The Immortal going ham on the tanks as well. And it looks like a Classic will hold. The Immortal barely does survive. Disruptor comes out. Nova goes off. Sending back the army. Beyond down to 1 tank. And we can break this. Yeah, we can get on top of the tank as well. Despite the initial failed surround, Classic, he will completely shut this down. I mean, Beyond is kiting well. He wants that Immortal. We'll get it. Immortal goes down. Nova goes off. Once again, just zoning the army. Colossus on the way. Beyond is down to 34 SCVs. He barely has an economy, bearing in mind that Classic is on 3 bases. And Beyond is going for the 3rd. He's going for the 3rd base. But Classic, he heaps up. He's in position. Forces back the fire. Medevac's running out of energy. Yes, they've been putting in a lot of work for quite some time. Classic is holding. And the longer this goes on, the better it is for Classic. He's on 3-way saturation. He's got Colossus production on the way. +2 as well. And we even throw down a 4th Nexus. Oh my god. He's crazy. 4th Nexus on the way. And from this position, it's very possible, it's very likely actually, that Beyond pulls the boys for a second time. Like, again, there's no macroing out of this. No macroing out of this. Liberators, they hit the main, but Stalkers are in position. Stalkers are ready. Disruptor, being adventurous. Up! 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 Nova goes off! Ooh, big connection. Takes out some Marines, takes out some Marauders. Tank takes a lot of damage as well. And we are moving out. A shout to Cyan in the chat. God, Papi God. We collapse on top of the army. We focus on the lives one after the other. And GG gets called. Beyond has nothing left. And Classic takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Fala galera, Papi. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the grand finals, los gran finales of the KSL, of the Korean StarCraft League. That was game 1. Game 1 of many. It's a best of 5. Plenty more games ahead of us. Beyond, he went for a wild build. He went for a 2-on-1, initially with 4 Cyclones into a 2-base all-in, into the boys being pulled. Again, it was all or nothing for Beyond, and he was unable to break the natural base. Classic had a beautiful surround. He had a shield butter. He had Nova Charge. He was able to scout the move out as well to prepare. He was ready for it. And with that, we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. Fala galera. Fala galera, papi. Here we go. We're getting into that second game. Pues, thank you. Gracias. Obrigado. Obrigado, papi. Thank you so much for the raid. Here we go. We're getting into game number 2. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of a Golden Aura, we have our South Korean Terran player. The blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Beyond. Down in this series, and we have to fight back. Well, I mean, we're going to fight back here and now and tie up the series 1-1. Spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have we have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Twisted Minds. Ahead in this series, looking to take a further lead and force the match point. It is Classic. Can he take the 2-0 lead? Can he bring it to the brink, or can Beyond fight back? I mentioned before, I would be shocked, I would be surprised if this goes 3-0 either direction. I expect it back and forth, as Classic is once again scouting for a proxy. We saw this in game 1, we're seeing it here in game number 2 as well. I don't blame him. Beyond is not afraid to proxy, he's not afraid to cheese. So Classic is checking both locations, both the triangular third and the linear third. And even checks the 4th base as well before moving out for a scout. So very safe and secure play out of Classic. Making sure that Beyond is not up to any shenanigans. Very safe play. Back at home, double gas. Double gas opener out of Beyond. Going for a faster factory. So going to be racks into factory. Once again, there's a multitude of builds that this can lead into. This can lead into, I guess, double Cyclone into 2-1, whatever the hell game 1 was, which was not a standard game. Can lead into Reacted Reaper Hellion, Widowmine drop, Cyclone drop, Tank drop, Banshee play. What do you have for us this time, Beyond? What's it going to be? Like, Cyclone into 2-1-1 was not on my list of possibilities, but I guess that's also a thing, kind of. I guess. What's it this time? As we have the initial Reaper moving out, going for the reactor follow-up. Reaper just getting a bit of scouting information before moving out across the map, and back at home, Classic going for a standard opener himself. Taratassadar. Good evening, papi, good evening. Oh, hello by Hammerfall, hello. Good to see you. Bobby, do you know what's going on with Code for Giants Cup? I should message Cosmos about it, but I imagine Code for Giants Cup is being rescheduled. I imagine. In the main base, we have our tech of choice, going to be a Twilight Council opener. Meanwhile, Beyond does not go for the add-on swap. He's going for Reactor Reaper Hellion. A very aggressive start here by Beyond. Basically, what's happening is he's prioritizing initial units early on, and this Reaper Hellion is designed to catch out the first couple of gateway units and get into a mineral line and roast up some probes. Our goal here is economic damage. Here we go. We're getting up to triple Reaper double Hellion. We're moving out across the map. And we'll see how many probes we can get, if any. So a very aggressive start here by Björn. We can also split up our units. We can go Hellions into the natural and Reapers into the main. Or we can just focus everything at the natural location. Reapers are dipping in, hoping to drag the army out of position. Yeah, we're going to be distracting the initial gateway army. Drag everything into the main. And those Hellions, they dive in. They're going for the natural. We get 2 probe kills so far. We do get into the mineral line. Probes are going down. Reapers are deflected. And so far, the shield battery puts in a lot of work. Up. Oh, we get a 3rd probe kill, but not much more than that. We do deny a lot of mining time. Oh, a lot of mining time is lost. Hellions are cleaned up. Reapers, they get back into the main. They get another worker. And they get a full scout. We get a full scout, we confirm a blink, we confirm the Twilight Council. But that was a costly trade. That was 3 Reapers, 2 Hellions for 4 workers. That was not even a 1-to-1 trade. We were hoping for more. If there was no shield battery, or if the shield battery was closer to the ramp, or closer to the wall, then maybe we would have gotten more damage, but that was not ideal. We at least got the full scouts, and we did deny mining time. That was okay, but I would say better defense for Classic. And we're following it up with Tank Banshee. Okay. So a very aggressive follow-up. This can turn into a 2-base all-in, where we're prioritizing tank production. Banshees that we're going to be harassing in the main base. Oh, no detection. 0 detection. Oh, wait. Do we have an observer? Okay, we do. Okay, we're good. I'm blind. We have an observer in the main. We have an observer across the map. Oh, even I couldn't see the observer. We're good. We're good. We have safety detection. The Banshee is deflected. But I'm curious about whether or not we throw down a 3rd CC. But now it's a 2-1-1. Stim timing here for Björn. Tanks are amassing. The observer will spot the move outs. Classic sees all. Behind this, 3rd Nexus on the way. If Björn commits, Classic's going to be aware. Björn moving out. Classic does respond. He's going to meet the army and slow it down. Blink is done. Bear that in mind. And we don't have Stim. We get a Marine. Oh, we trade out a Stalker though. Not the best trade here at a Classic. We did miss that initial blink. So nice pick off out of Björn. Does siege up. 3rd CC's on the way. At the same time, Banshee hits the natural, not the main. We get 5 probe kills. Nice damage here out of Björn. The Banshee survive. They get into the main, and they get even more. 8. Oh, almost 9 probe kills. Ay, ay, ay. Well worth it here for 1 Banshee. So nice damage out of Björn. And behind this, 3rd CC. We are not going all in. We're not going for the all in. We are going to be expanding. Björn pulls back home. Doesn't commit. Banshee getting 2 more probe kills once again. Up. Oh, and we are going to be punished at least a little bit. We take a bit of hull damage. Dipping into the main. Once again, Classic this time is keeping up. He is keeping up with the movements, and he will clean up the Banshee. But overall, what was that 10 probe kills in total? Not bad. Meanwhile, Classic going for a counterattack. Does have charge, but breaking a 2-basing Terran player is not going to be easy. Yes, we have a 3rd base on the way, but Björn does expose himself, is moving out. Main army is spotted by the observer. Classic is aware. Bearing in mind that this time Björn has Stim. In a Stim, Björn has Marauders. Classic pulling away. Knows he cannot take this head on. Building up more zealots. Marauder production has begun. Marauder? Immortal. What I meant to say. And we do have our first stim. Beyond stimming on forward. Tanks coming in from behind as well. Zealots not going to be able to get on top of those tanks. Ooh, yeah, brutal tank shots. And massive volleys on the main army. Shield battery goes down. There is a backup shield battery. You have the overcharge. Classic trying to hold on, setting up for us around. The scan will shut down those zealots. They get cleaned up. No surround. And Classic's in a lot of trouble. He's forced to push in from one angle, from one side. Massive tank volleys. The Immortal goes down. And it looks like Biani should be able to clean this up. He kites back. Takes down all the zealots. Tanks are a bit exposed, but we... Oh, can we save it? We cannot. The final tank goes down, but what is left? What is left here for Classic? Nothing. No more Stalkers. We have zealots trickling in. But it looks like Beyond has done it. Beyond has broken the back of Classic. So much economic damage early on, and the tank volleys were insane. Boys are being pulled into Stim Marines. Not something you ever want to see. Ay, ay, ay. And it looks like with this, Beyond is looking to tie up the series. He is not going down without a fight. Will not be a 3-0 again in either direction. We're tying things up. GG gets called, and Beyond takes game number 2. GG. GG, well played. Beyond will tie us up. We're getting ready for game 3. Again, Beyond had a very, I would say, an okay start with the Reaper Hellion. It wasn't ideal, but the Banshees, they paid for themselves. They more than paid for themselves. They did cripple the economy of Classic. They kept him in check. Likewise, Beyond's move out as well, catching some Stalkers. And she did snowball into that win. Classic just unable to really get much momentum there. Did struggle against the Cloak Banshees. Did struggle, and now we're getting into game number 3. As a reminder, it's a best of 5, so we still have plenty more games ahead of us. Plenty more games to come. Let's go. Getting into that second game. So into that third game. We're going to be loading into Alcyone. A much larger map. Much larger. So we can embrace a longer game. We'll see if we can. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alcyone, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Beyond. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Red Protoss player representing Twisted Minds. Being forced into a Tab series, can he take a lead? Can he bring it back? It is Classic. Here we go. Hello, Björn. Björn going for a fake proxy Rax. So we mention this all the time, but we rarely see it. Whenever a probe scout comes in and does confirm that the Rax is missing, that doesn't mean it's a real proxy. The Rax can be thrown down further back in the main, it can be thrown down in the natural, or at the third base location as well. So Björn is going for a fake proxy, hoping to force an overreaction. And we'll see if he does. Back at home, a Classic going for his own standard opener, yet to move out with a probe scout. Soon will, I'm sure. Soon will, as a cyber core is on the way. We are going to be settling into our openers here. Behind this Beyond is, going for the factory. We didn't have an early probes. Interesting. So, if you recall, in the last 2 games, Classic has been very adamant about scouting. He was so quick to check and scout for proxies in Game 1 and Game 2, and so quick to probe scout across the map. Here in Game 3, no probe scout at all. He doesn't check for proxies, doesn't move out across the map, and that means that this cheeky opener at a Beyond doesn't really lead to anything. Like, it's designed to, like, throw in some confusion to a probe scout, but we had no probe scout, so... You know, Beyond, he's doing all these flips and doing all these tricks, but Classic isn't even looking, so it doesn't matter. And we're settling into our game. We're gonna be settling in, Beyond expanding, and Classic going for his Twilight Council. Now, when it comes to the lack of probe scout from Classic, I guess it makes sense here on a larger map. He's assuming it's an economic opener. We can see that it wasn't. It was double gas into a faster factory. So Beyond is still going to be the aggressor early on. Adept is going to be caught out by the Reaper Hellion. We do not get the Hellion. Adept is shut down. We have a backup of Adept here at the Zelnaga. Once again, focusing down the Hellion, we'll get it. Hellion goes down, and Classic will shade away. Back at home, and Beyond going for a 1-1-1. No faster second Rex. And Beyond is settling into a much more standard mid-game. Reaper Hellion does threaten the natural. No shield battery. Uh-oh. No shield battery. No overcharge. Boys have to be pulled, and we are getting a lot of damage. We're getting so much done. Probes are going down. We get 5 probe kills. We get 6. We get 7. 7 probe kills early on. This is far too much. And Beyond is popping off. He's punishing the greed of Classic. Classic was caught off guard. We get 9 probe. Can we get 10? Up. Can we? Oh, barely not. But 9 probe kills for 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions. A much better trade this time. A much stronger start. And Beyond is going for the same follow-up. Same build 2 games in a row. Or similar build. Getting into Cloak Banshee. Getting into Tank Banshee here in the aftermath. Actually, so far, yeah, same build. Out of Beyond. Cloak Banshee is being rallied out. Tanks are amassing as well. Classic trying to go for a counterattack. Blink is about to finish. But we only have 2 gateways. Classic going for a much more greedy economic opener. And Beyond is going to be there to punish him. Beyond is going to be there for the punish. Stalker's going to go for the Cyclone. Tank does reveal itself. Classic now aware of at least a tank. Observer moving out. We will have detection. But will we have the army ready? As it looks like Classic is setting up to go into the main. The tank is pre-sieged. We have some units in position. But the main is quite large. And we can avoid the tank. We pull away. The Observer! Observer gets sniped. Nice catch there out of Beyond. We pull the boys. SCVs are falling. But can we get out of here? Can we escape? Ooh, massive tank bullies. And the Stalker's going to be cleaned up. We're going to lose every single Stalker. I say that. We have a recall. Ooh, we get 1 away. We escape with 1 Stalker. Meanwhile, across the map, we have the Banshee. GG gets called. No detection in position. The Observer got sniped earlier, if you recall, and Beyond takes a 2-1 lead. Ooh, GG. No detection available whatsoever, and Beyond, he was able to cripple the economy earlier and was able to shut Classic down here in Game 3, and now Beyond is 1 game away from taking the series. Bit of a checkmate move. I mean, it's the same feeling that we have whenever a DT shows up and there's no detection and the game ends. Similar story. Similar story here. Banshee rocks up, no detection, GG. GG, well played. Now we're going to be getting into game number 4. I'm hoping for an ace match. I'm hoping we can go the distance here, but Beyond is here to stop that from happening, to claim the series here and now, and to be our champion. Let's go. We are settling in and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn. We have our South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion. 1 game away from becoming this week's KSL champion. It is Beyond. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Twisted Minds. Down in the series, he has to fight back here and now to force the ace match. It is Classic. We go. So we are going to be This time, checking for a proxy, which makes sense. Classic, he's checking for the racks, making sure that no shenanigans is upon us. I mean, Bjarne's ahead in the series. This would be a good time to proxy. And Classic is making sure that's not the case. Does check on the left-hand side before moving out for a probe scout. Back at home for the first time this series, Bjarne going for a racks expand. Economic opener. Every game so far, Bjarne has been going double gas into either Cyclone aggression or Reaper Hellion aggression. That is not the case, not this time. And Classic will confirm. It's like, you're calming down. Okay. So Classic, he can breathe easy here in the early game. We'll be able to expand and settle into his tech. We'll rescout CC on the high ground, so a safe expansion location for Bjarne. Making sure he's not abused, he's not delayed. And now we have the later factory. Here we go. See Bane Glory in the chat. I love Clem too. Clem isn't a Terran player anymore. What do you mean? Clem, he's a Vanguard enjoyer. I mentioned it before, but for those who are wondering, the reason why Clem is not here in today's tournament is because Clem is playing in the Stormgate event. He's playing Stormgate at the moment. Smooch. Uh-oh, Classic. What are we doing? What's going on? Are we going for a delayed proxy Stargate? Or just gateway? It could just be a gateway. I could be freaking out for no reason. Or for good reason. We'll see. Meanwhile, it's going to be a Widowmine drop opener here out of Bjarne. Pylon is done, and show us what you got. We have 2 gateways back at home. And we have a 3rd gateway across the map. Here we go. It's going to be 3-gate aggression here at a Classic. Does spot the Widowmines, is aware. As Bjarne is doubling down on the Widowmine drop, we're getting another wave of Widowmines on the way. We'll see if we can survive Classic's aggression with this, because these Widowmines are designed to move out across the map, but we're going to have very little to defend. Very little back at home. Stalkers are spotted. Cyclones on the way. First mine shot gets baited out. We have 3 left. It's a lot of Widowmines. It's a lot of mines set up. Oh, there's no easy way for Classic to deal with this, to break through. There's no blink. There's no prism. Oh, we're moving out with the drop. Very risky move here out of Bjarne. Very risky. Widowmines are not at home to defend, and back at home we have a Cyclone, we have a bunker. And can a Classic break this? He's collapsing in. He's going to try it. Going for the Cyclone. And Cyclone's going to be targeted. SCVs as well. 1 Stalker goes down. We have a backup Cyclone just in time. Oh, yeah, that Cyclone is brutal. We're going to clean this up. Yeah, the Stalkers are low. The Adepts are falling as well. And across the map, we're getting ready for the mine drop. It's going to cost us 7 SCVs. A lot of economic damage. Drop has arrived. Classic does respond, does pull away. Oh my god. Does pull away in time. And the medevac is getting very low. We still have 2 Widowmines. They've not gone off. Gone off. Not yet. Bjarne is going to be trapped here in the corner. He's going to be trapped in the corner of the map. Classic does defend. He gets away with dealing some economic damage. Settling into his robo. Cyclones are moving out. Oh, and Bjarne is breaking through. We pick off 1 of the Cyclones. 1 Cyclone for 2 Stalkers. Oh. Not the best trade. Classic doesn't have much to work with. Liberated from behind. Bjarne's just all over Classic. Oh my god. We have Libs. We have Widowmines. We have Cyclones as well. Yeah, pulling Classic apart. Waiting for the pylon. Doesn't quite get it. Classic will defend. He will deflect Bjarne. Classic holds. And back at home, once again, we're following this up with Tank Banshee. Again, Tank Banshee is very trendy as of the last couple of months. I say like 6 months. It's been post DreamHack Dallas, that's it. Ever since DreamHack Dallas, it's been all about the tank Banshee and TVP, and we're doing it again. Meanwhile, Classic still does not have a Twilight Council. He's working towards Colossus production. Reaper gets across the map, gets surrounded. Nice pick off here at a Classic. Banshee's on the way. Very chaotic game state here between Beyond and Classic. Classic is pulling back home and getting into Colossus. Meanwhile, Beyond settling down into Biotank. This time we only went for one Banshee. We did not invest into Cloak. Did not make a second Banshee either. Just the one. And we'll get a couple of probe kills. That's going to be 3 probes going down. Not bad. Get 3 probe kills. We're not going to get much more than that, though. We get a Stalker. Good defending. And here comes a move out from Bjorn. How many tanks do we have? We've got 3 tanks. We've got 50 Marines. Do we pull the boys? Not quite. 3rd CC on the way. Okay. We're not going for the all-in, but we are still moving out, designed to break the 3rd. That's what the army's designed to do. Catch the Observer. Colossus in position. No force fields. Classic does miss the rotation. Oh! But we'll get on top of the army. Tanks force a siege. First tank goes down. Yeah, Bjorn gets caught out, and he's going to lose every single tank. And lose his bio army as well. Oof. A rough loss for Bjorn. Caught with his pants down. And Classic does punish him. Remember, that move out was supposed to bring down the 3rd, but it does nothing. Now Bjorn's in trouble. Bjorn's in a lot of trouble. He does get into the bunker. 3rd CC's on the way. Classic is aware. Does rotate around. Another Colossus being sent out as well. Now this command center should barely finish in time, but I'm not sure if we can really get it up and running. This Classic is here to stop it. No, we pick up! No! Get out of here! We do pick up, we get caught out. Yeah, rough moment here for Bjorn. We have the 2nd Colossus and Bjorn, he's being forced back towards his natural. The CC has to be abandoned. We force a lift. Force lift the 3rd. We're stuck on 2 bases. A risky move here out of Bjorn. He does go for the drop. Has so little to defend back at home, but Classic does not keep pushing. Pulls back. The double drop will deny the 4th. Not bad. You force a cancel. Base is cancelled. Bjorn pulling away. Does mean that his later 3rd isn't being punished too much, as Classic is still on 3 bases. Behind this, finally working towards Blink, +1. Forge and Templar Archives on the way. So Classic taking up in every which direction. And we're going to have some time to breathe here. We're going to be backing up, settling down, building up. Beyond getting into Ghost production. I do want to give the edge to... I was going to say to Classic just because he can work towards Storm, but he hasn't started Storm yet. Still haven't really stabilized after the earlier game aggression. But we're getting there. We are getting there. Storm now on the way. And Templar morphing in to gather up energy. And Classic even throwing down the Stargate. We've seen this before. Now, Classic, for the first time this series, we can actually get into a longer game. Like, these have been really fast games. Game 1, 2, and 3. We just haven't been able to embrace the mid-game and get up to 4-base saturation until now. And something that is a trademark of Classic is that he is quite fond of rushing into Skytoss. If he ever sees an opportunity, if he ever has a moment where he can take advantage of the Terran, then he will throw down the Stargate, a Fleet Beacon, and work towards Skytoss. Is something that Classic is known for. And there it is, a +1 air attack is on the way. There's a Fleet Beacon, there's a 2nd Stargate. We are rushing into Skytoss. Again, after the failed aggression of Bjorn, Classic has the freedom to do so, but we'll see if he can get away with it. See if he can get away with it. If Bjorn is too passive, then he will. Bjorn is taking a 4th CC. Drop on the way. Bjorn is getting ready to move out. Now remember, it takes a while to really embrace carriers and Tempest, so Classic is vulnerable. He is vulnerable until this really gets underway. There we go, carrier production has begun. But until we hit critical mass of carrier, the bio army of Bjorn can break through. Can punish Classic. We scan! Big scan into the main base. Bjorn now is aware of what's going on. And we're pushing. We're moving out. Starport's on the way, +1 ship weapons as well. But again, Classic has not reached his final form yet, and Bjorn, can he stop him? Can he stop him? Because he's going to be pushing into Storm. We have a wall of cannons, shield barriers. Oh my, Classic is turtling up. Again, because Classic got scanned, he knows that he's in danger, so just throws down a wall of cannons and shield batteries, getting ready for the push. Classic is turtling, doing his best Terran impression. Let's go. Let's go, Bobby. And Bjorn is not moving out. It looks like Bjorn has realized that maybe it's too late. It looks like Bjorn is like, maybe I've scouted this too late and I can't quite break my opponent. Another starport on the way, getting to Mass Viking, triple starport production. It looks like Bjorn is embracing a later game. So we're getting into the late game here. Sky Toss versus Sky Terran. Let's go. Now, when it comes to this unit composition of Classic, we do have some Storm, which is good. Archons are going to be ideal as well to support the main army. I mean, I say Archons, there's a lot that comes into this, right? Where we need some anti-air to protect the Sky Toss because there's going to be a lot of Vikings. A lot of Vikings on the way for Bjorn. So we need some anti-air. Storm is okay. Archons can be better, but I say can be just because we have Ghosts and EMPs. As we all know, EMPs can just annihilate Archons and High Templar and all that as well. That's where Disruptors can come into play, can turn away the ground army without having to worry about EMPs. So we're still working towards it. Scan and get eyes on the Observer. Does find it. Observer goes down. With our current armies, it will come down to the spellcasters. It's going to come down to the High Templar and the Ghosts. Do we get the Storm off? Do we get the EMP off? That's what a lot of this fight will entail. Prism gets shut down. Army's moving out. How many carriers do we have? We're up to 5 carriers. That's an okay amount. It's okay. Rock's gonna be knocked down. John getting ready. Doesn't have his turret set up. Get a mine shot off. Yeah, no turrets here at the 4th base. Ooh, we do bait out some Storms. A little bit premature there by Classic. But he still has plenty of... Yeah, he has plenty of energy. Plenty of High Templar. Plenty of Storm energy. It's okay for now. Mothership has arrived. Vikings. Oh, they're going for the snipe. Ooh, they get one. Big pick off. One carrier goes down. I'm saying before we do EMP one of the High Templar, just the one. Oof. More EMPs do graze the army. I mean, they connect with the main army. They don't quite connect with the High Templar. And that's the ideal, the goal. Is to deny the Storms. If there's no Storm, we can just dive in. We can just stim one forward. We can break this Protoss army. Now, my big concern for Classic is that it looks like, oh, we have a sniping High Templar. He's coming from behind! The Ghost! The Ghost from behind. And we just get some massive EMPs. Oh my god. I think we have 1 or 2 Storms left. EMPs were brutal. You can see so many High Templar without any energy, but we're pushing in. And Vikings, they can go ham. They shut down the Mothership. Mothership goes down. Those are the final Storms. That's all we had left. The flanking Ghost was brutal. And now we can commit. Gonna be kiting back. Colossus standing strong. Classic does reinforce with mainly a gateway army. He's warping in more zealots, more archons. Classic rotating around, does get the planetary. Oh, but the carriers and Colossus, they're exposed! The Colossus and the carriers are going to be going down. The Vikings, they go ham. They shut down the air army. And Classic is going to lose everything. We'll lose everything here. Without storms, what can we do? Nothing, Clappy. We do take down the planetary. Base goes down. Base does fall. But Classic is racing back, and is it enough, though? That's the question. The mass zealot reinforcements. They're going for another base. Beyond doesn't have the best economy. Beyond may have won the fight, but can he sustain himself? Can he actually rebuild his army? As Classic is coming back in. Denies mining on the left-hand side, pushing it on the right, catching more SCVs. And Beyond is getting pulled apart. He just cannot keep up, as once again, Classic, he hits the left-hand side, denying the base, denying mining, crippling the economy of Beyond. And now we have some storms. Oh, spoke too soon. We have storms left over. Yeah, who needs Sky Toss? We have Zealots. The Vikings, they land. They're doing what they can. Oof. Oh my god, massive storms. Storms on the Ghost and the Vikings. At the same time, Zealots are wreaking havoc at the natural. Again, Beyond just doesn't have to, he doesn't have the supply. Doesn't have the numbers to defend both locations at once. And Classic is running away with this. Now getting back into Sky Toss, back into carriers. Things very quickly snowballing out of control in favor of Classic. Just doubling down, initially with his ground army, initially with just mass zealot reinforcements. And we are looking to force that ace match now. Classic is still just maxing out. He's getting there. Scan into the main reveals that we're still making carriers. Means we need more Vikings again. Goes kind of solid. We're just waiting for Classic to pull the trigger. As he is moving out once again. Back at home, Beyond looking for observers, trying to figure out where exactly the army is. Beyond is spotted by the Zealot. Classic rotating, playing it safe. Now, Classic is giving Beyond time to remax. Bear that in mind. Beyond still needs extra. He still needs more time, though. He does connect. Storm turning back the army. Classic rotating around. Zealot around by does deny mining here at the 5th. Classic is pushing in towards the 4th. Sensor Tower goes down. Oof. EMP does link with the Stalkers. High Templar coming in. No storms yet. Remember, it's only 3 High Templar. They need those storms. Oof, we have so many medevacs. We have 13. I just noticed. That's a lot of medevacs, Pappy. Soul EMP does connect. Once again with the carriers, with the Gateway Army. Storm zones away. 10 SCVs go down. And we just continue to just warp in Zealots time and time again. Knocking down that 5th base. The flanking storm comes in. Oh my god. The storm does connect, catching Beyond off guard. We take down the base. Another storm as well. Yeah, we had Beyond earlier with the cheeky flanking Ghost. This time, Classic with a flanking High Templar. And Beyond will lose the base, he will lose the economy for a second time. 26, 27 SCVs go down. And this is all that Beyond has left. More storms coming in. Oh my god. Massive connections. And Beyond's army, he's going to be able to get on top of the carriers. No interceptors left. No interceptors, carriers are going down. But Classic has a bank. Classic can rebuild. He's forced to recall back home. He will save 3 of those carriers, just barely. But Beyond is all in. Essentially, he's all in with this army. He has no sustain, he has no economy. GG gets called, and Classic will tie up the series 2-2. We are going to the ace match. Let's go. GG. Whew. GG, well played. We're going all the way to game 5. Again, there were some nice moves there out of Bjorn, but alas, Classic was able to overwhelm in the end. Was able to pull Bjorn apart. And with that, we're getting into the ace match, the final game of the series. It all ends here. It all ends in game 5. Let's go. That's what we all wanted. That's what we were hoping for an ace match between these two players. And it all ends on Site Delta. Oh my god. At least we got one macro game, right? We didn't really get a macro game out of any of the other previous games until now, until Oceanborn. We can cross that off. Now we can cheese. Now we can ape it up again. Let's go. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion, being forced into the ace match. Can he bring it back? It is Bjorn. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss representing Twisted Minds, forcing the ace match, bringing it here to game 5. Can he keep up that momentum? Can he keep it going? It is Classic. Let's go. It all ends here. It all ends on Site Delta, the final game of the tournament. And once again, Classic's checking, scouting for proxies. Checks the linear third base before moving out. And Bjorn is not cheesed at all. I mean, I said not cheesed. He's not proxied at all this series. Not at all. He went for a fake proxy on Alkion, if you remember. Was Classic still checking? Looking for any shenanigans. Now the Rax is back at home, and Bjorn is going for a single gas opener. Okay. We have a faster CC. So Bjorn opening up economically. Do appreciate it. Hasn't happened much this series. It's going to be the second time in this best of 5. Classic will confirm. Oh, you can see Classic trying to keep eyes on that SCV, and we have our CC on the high ground. Bit of a safer location for Bjorn. Classic will back off, satisfied with the scout. And we can settle in. Cannot settle in. And from here, Bjorn's options, we have seen a decent... Oh my god, he's going 3cc, 3 racks. Let's go. I was going to say we've seen a lot of 3 raxes here on Site Delta, and it's looking to be something similar, but this is as greedy as you can get. Bjorn going for the second for the second base and into the third CC as well. I'm curious if this is going to be for a factory or for a Rax. Yep, there we go. Second Rax on the way. This should be leading to a third Rax as well. So 3cc, 3 Rax, not unheard of. This has been a build that has been rising in popularity over the past couple of months as well. We do often see it sprinkled in mid-series. Not something that we rely upon, but very greedy stuff. There's that third Rax on the way, so we get 3cc, 3 Rax out of Bjorn. This is going to be working towards a sim timing, and this can snowball out of control. If Classic doesn't recognize what's going on, if he doesn't punish this, then Bjorn will skyrocket in the mid-game. The early game is still going to look quite close and quite back and forth, and it's not really going to factor in too much early on, but the speed at which you can take the third base and get it saturated is insane, and typically Protoss want to be upper base. They want to be upper base against Terran. Bjorn, he's going to have a massive timing, a window where he can just have a massive army and snowball out of control. We'll see if we can embrace it. We'll see if he can embrace it. Back at home, Classic going for a Stargate opener. Stargate into Phoenix. I think this is more ideal for Bjorn. I think this is ideal. Phoenixes, they can harass across the map, and they need to. If we went for a blink-based opener, like 3-gate blink or 4-gate blink, we can punish this quite well. just because no tanks, right? No tank production whatsoever. So Blinkstalker aggression can do very nicely against this kind of build. Less so Phoenixes. As Classic is still trying to piece it all together. Phoenixes are amassing back at home. Bay is on the way. That's going to be for Phoenix Colossus. We're going for the Bay before the third base. So Classic, he's playing safe. He's not playing too greedily, which means he's going to be falling a little bit behind economically. Well, initially, and a lot more if Bjorn can get his third. See how it all does come to pass. Beyond his scouts, he confirms the Stargate is now aware of the Phoenixes. And we'll see if Bjorn can maintain himself here. We have Marines at the natural. We have Marines in the main. We have a nice spread. And upon checking the main base, we should get eyes on the fact that the third CC is already done. We should, but we won't, as we do hug the edge of the map. Going into the main, getting one, getting two SCVs. Third SCV does fall. Rotating back around. We don't quite get eyes on the CC. Classic, he's in the dark. I mean, he saw the timing of the starport, I guess. That's not the biggest of tells. And he... Okay, there we go. Now he does confirm. He does confirm the third CC. He's aware of how greedy Bjorn has been. Now he knows. But he doesn't have the best army to punish this. Phoenixes, they got a couple of SCVs. They got 4 SCV kills. That's okay, but... we were hoping for a little bit more. Third base now being taken. On par with the third of Classic. And we're just waiting for Bjorn to saturate that base, get it up and running. And then get into the mid-game. He's fading at his Marines. His Natural's a little bit more exposed, but yeah, the turret's in position. Yeah, one SCV. One SCV goes down. And we can see Bjorn taking up. He's working towards a Ghost Academy already. Ghost Academy +1. Fire armies sharking around looking for those Phoenixes. And he will find them.
SCV ready.
He's going to try to keep up. Another SCV goes down. We get a Phoenix. Oh, we get a second Phoenix as well. Two Phoenixes do fall, and Bjorn, he's pushing. He's pushing out. Bjorn with a massive army. Back at home, we have a wall of shield batteries on the way. Yeah, we need more shield batteries. We're gonna need them. Shield batteries are being thrown down. We have 2 Colossus. I mean, the Colossus count is looking quite healthy here for Classic. He's got his Immortal production on the way. No third Colossus. He's got 2. Bjorn is setting up, going for a Doom Drop. Is risky, but because of how low the Phoenix count is, we can commit with the drop play. Scan reveals the main army. Bjorn knocking down those rocks. Now we're boosting in. We're boosting into the natural. Classic. He will respond. Does react. And Bjorn is not going to be able to get out of here. Again, only 3 Phoenixes here. We can get out. We do take down one of the Phoenixes. 2 left. But this is still going to be a big loss for Bjorn, leading out a lot of Marines. A lot of Marines. A full medevac! Oh my god, medevac barely does survive, but again, Bjorn bleeding up a lot of units here, and that was not worth it. It was risky to go for the Doom Drop. And that does cost us 14 Marines, 5 Marauders, a medevac. And we got like a pylon. We got 1 pylon and 1 probe. Barely anything. And Classic needed that. He needed a fight like that to go his way. So Classic is in this. Bjorn not taking a 4th CC. That was Classic. Classic going for a Zealot round by will delay the 4th. Nice timing. Can we force a cancel? Not quite. Not quite. Classic gets the hell out of there. At the same time, another Adept counterattack here at the 3rd. We have Zealots on one end, Adepts at the other. 5 SCVs go down. We drag Bjorn and we attempt to drag him out of position. The CC does complete. Waiting for the Mule Hammer. Bjorn is holding. Chasing down the Adepts. Classic getting ready for some drop play. And once again, we spoke about it before, but if the game does have a bit of a lull, has a bit of a break, then Classic is the kind of player that rushes into Sky Toss. It is kind of his signature move in PvT. We saw it in the previous game on Oceanborn, and we're seeing it again here on Side Delta. He recognizes that Bjorn is being more defensive, so may as well take advantage of that defensive play and tech the hell up. Carrier production has begun, making 3 carriers at a time. But until we can really get into those carriers, Bjorn is going to max out. Bjorn is about to max, and Bjorn has a window where he can try to break Classic before we can get into the Sky Toss. Scan does reveal it! Scan does reveal the carrier production. Bjorn knows. Bjorn is aware. We don't have any Vikings, unlike the previous game. Yeah, we're just now getting into the 2nd starport, into Viking production. +1 ship weapons has begun as well. Bjorn is getting ready. You know, Classic walling up. Cannons, shield batteries on the way. Classic is turtling. Do you find the prism? Nice catch. Can we chase it down? Not quite. We deny the harass. Nice EMP. Takes down the observer. Classic does go for a Zealot Rumite towards the natural. Would you fully wall up in time? Just in time. Zealot Rumite is cleaned up. Prism towards the main. And at this point, Bjorn has taken long enough that Classic, he got away with it. We did it. Classic got away with it. We have 3 carriers, soon to be 6, as the next wave of carriers is about to complete. So Classic, he has been able to refine his army. How many High Templar do we have? 6. Not bad. 6 High Templar. Mothership is getting set up on the left-hand side. We can, of course, recall. Can try to recall across the map. And we'll see how we do approach this. So it looks like Classic is going to be moving on the right-hand side and distracting the main army. Is going to dance with Bjorn and then recall from behind and try to sneak up on this 4th base. We'll see if Bjorn can keep up. He does have a marauding force towards the left-hand side as well. He's scanning, is looking for the main army. He's going for the Nexus. There are some High Templar, but they're looking vulnerable. Classic may lose a base here. We go for the EMP. The High Templar go down. No recall either. And the base will fall. At the same time, Classic pulls the trigger. Massive EMPs. A lot of High Templar do get caught out. But we are looking to break through. Oh, we have 1 Storm left over as well. Storm grazes the army. We have another Storm left. And we just don't have enough. Yeah, Bjorn just doesn't have enough here. We have some decent EMPs, but where are the Marines? Where is the buffer? Yeah, Bjorn is getting overwhelmed. At the same time, he commits across them. He takes out 1 base, is going for another. Going for another Nexus, and we recall towards the 4th. We don't recall back home. Essentially a base trade. We get the slow zone on the planetary. The repairs are good, but barely not good enough. And now we can recall back home. Go for recall into recall, but Classic lost 2 bases, and he lost a lot of probes. 25 workers going down. Bjorn, sure, he lost the planetary, but he has another CC. He has a backup CC. He maintains his SCVs as well. He saves both bases, in a sense. Beyond's okay. Classic is trying to resaturate. Beyond is holding on. Isn't the best trade there for Classic, but he's still trying to recover as well. How many High Templar we're up to? Still on 6. Still 6 High Templar. Under the main army. Still gathering energy. Meanwhile, the Viking count looking much more healthy for Beyond. We have 15 Vikings. That's a lot of Vikings. Checking the southern base. Classic is spinning towards the north. Beyond looking for a way in. Does sit forward. Vikings lead the charge. Ooh, big storm though on those Vikings. Does soften them up. Another storm as well in the bio. Overcharge is popped. Beyond backs off. Doesn't like what he sees. Now, if Classic doesn't replace his static defense here, then this could be another vulnerable location that Beyond can abuse later. So Classic has to be careful about replacing that. And even setting up at some of these fresh bases as well. We catch the main army! Massive EMP! Oh my god, we catch every High Templar! 0 storms left. Classic with some rough army movement. He gets caught on the ram. Oh, we have some flanking High Templar though. We still have 2 left. 2 High Templar barely left over. Whew. Classic has 1 storm remaining. Carrier goes down. But that was a big moment for Beyond. And we still only have 2 High Templar left over. Classic does have to warp in. Remember, without any storms, there's nothing stopping Beyond from just collapsing on the main army. I mean, Archons can help, but they're even more vulnerable to EMPs. We scan. There is 1 storm currently for Classic. And there it is. Storm gets spent. Another EMP. More High Templar coming to reinforce. We do warp in another 2 High Templar. Classic rotating around. Beyond now getting into Liberators. We're satisfied with our Viking counts. Now getting into Lib production. Classic posturing. Again, these fringe bases for Classic are very exposed, so if Classic ever does lose map control, he's going to be in a bit of trouble. Beyond taking another expansion. Mothership on the left-hand side, once again, getting ready for another recall. But ideally, we do want to make sure that Beyond is out of position first. So throwing down a wall of turrets. Mothership just commits in! Oh my god, massive storm in the middle line. SVs are finally going to be going down. We get the base. Another storm does connect, but we don't recall back home. We're committing to a fight. Classic does try to commit. He pulls away. Vikings are pushing in. There's so many of them. Yeah, we're going for the Mothership. Mothership goes down. Stalker's going to try and punish those Vikings. Yeah, Zelsa coming to reinforce. Classic almost coming in from behind. Not collapsing in yet. But he does hold his own. Takes down the base. Maintains most of his carriers. And now he's going for a ground switch. He's switching into ground toss, and that means that all these Vikings are going to be that much less effective, and we're still making Vikings. Getting up to 15 Vikings once again. What's the lib count looking like? Only 3 Liberators. The tanks are brutal though. We hold on to the ramp. We do hold the line. Another carrier goes down. Nice done with the Vikings. Ooh, massive storm. But Classic is maxed out. Classic is maxed heal. He denies top right. Denying the southern base as well. The storm does connect. And Beyond, he's struggling. He's struggling to keep up. Struggling to hold on. He might kill all the carriers, but what about the ground army? As even the 1 carrier survives, we take down the Vikings. Our conserver extend for a moment, we need reinforcements. We need another wave of zealots. If we had one extra wave, we can break this. 100%. Meanwhile, zealots, they took down a base. I believe that was a kill on the CC. Classic pulling back. Taking his own expansion. Now we can see beyond, he's not making any more Vikings. He's getting back into marine production. Meanwhile, Classic getting back into Skytoss, back into carriers. And Beyond doesn't have a bank. He's lost too much. He's lost too many ACVs, too many bases. He's muling his heart out. The mules, they're keeping Beyond in this. We're really going to be relying on mainly Marine here. Marine Ghost. Which can work well. Can. High Templar amassing. We have 9 High Templar. Ooh. Oh my god. Speaking of 9 High Templar, the storms are brutal. We take down most of the ghosts. And Beyond, he has almost nothing left. He has mainly Marine. He has 4 ghosts remaining. 5 ghosts even. We have so much splash damage. And Classic is breaking through. Breaking through the front line. No libs, no Vikings, no tanks whatsoever. Just a bio army. That's not good enough. Not anymore. Another storm just to zone. And we're pushing into the natural. We're going for the kill. We're going for the production. We're diving right into the main. And Beyond, he's caught out of position. He cannot push in. He cannot push up this ramp. As we reinforce with Zealots. It was an intense back and forth series, an intense back and forth finals. But Classic, he has done it. He has control of the main. Storms, they punch the buyer, try to push up the ramp. Oh my god, massive storms once again. And it looks like Classic will take this. GG gets called. Classic will take the series 3-2, becoming this week's Korean StarCraft League champion. GG. GG, well played. It did go the distance, went all the way to the ace match, but Classic was finally able to embrace what he is known for, what he is best at, and that is late game PvT, both on Oceanborn and here on Site Delta as well. Classic was able to showcase that, was able to flex that, was able to rely upon his late game army, upon not just his sky toss and his army control. We had some really solid EMPs out of Beyond, but because of Classic's economy behind it, well, even if he would lose fights, even if he would maybe lose control of the air, he would just double down and reinforce with Zealots and Stalkers. This happened on Oceanborn, happened here as well, where he was able to catch Beyond off guard with a bit of a ground transition and out-trade Beyond, pull him apart. GG. GG, well played. Did feel like Beyond had more scary early to mid game. We had some very aggressive builds and very aggressive play out of Beyond. That's where Beyond thrived. But as the game progressed, as Classic would settle into an economy and settle into Skytoss, that's where he could thrive instead. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Classic. And my condolences to Beyond, but it went to the ace match. It did go all the way to game 5, so I appreciate that we got to see all 5 games between these two players. And going down to Classic, there's no shame in that whatsoever. Classic is a top 2 Protoss in Korea and one of the best Protoss players in the world. Ooh. And they do go back and forth. GG. Well played. Congratulations. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. Oh. Does go the way of Classic. And with that, that is going to wrap up our initial broadcast for the day. I say initial because we do have a second broadcast thereafter. In a couple of hours' time, I say a couple of hours, it's going to be in 6.5 hours' time, we're going to be live with the WTL, with World Team League. Oh boy. As a reminder, World Team League, this is the final round, the final week of WTL, of the round robin stage. And then the playoffs. Then the playoffs are upon us. So today and tomorrow are the last 2 days of round 11 of WTL. And who is playing tonight? That is the question. Let me just double check here. WTL. World Team League tonight is going to be Twisted Fairy versus Mystery All Gamers and Psystorm Na'Vi versus Weibo Gaming. Oh, let's go. We have some insane matches coming up here tonight. We have a lot of PvPs. So it's actually going to be quite similar to today, actually, to this morning, where we had 0 Zerg players in KSL. Tonight, we have 0 Zerg players in WTL as well. As it's going to be Classic versus Lancer, Nice versus Lemon, Stats versus Strange, purely PvPs in Twisted Fairy versus Mystery All Gamers. And when it comes to Psystorm Na'Vi and Weibo Gaming, no Zerg players there either. It's going to be Oliveira versus Spirit, Geralt versus Hero, and Max Pax versus Jeshi. I'm getting like Zerg deprived right now. What's going on? I'm used to casting little Zerg, but today is 0 Zerg, really? Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we'll make up for it tomorrow. Tomorrow we have some Zerg players. Tomorrow we're going to be casting Scarlet and Solar and Wayne. Tomorrow, the final day of WTL round robin stage, will feature some Zerg players, thankfully, so we'll make up for it tomorrow. But today, it's just purely Protoss and Terran. Let's go. So that's later on tonight, again in 6.5 hours, or 6 hours and 11 minutes. Until then, I'm gonna be passing out. I'll be honest, I got very little sleep. I don't know what it was, but I went to bed at like 2 a.m. I went to bed after WTL, like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. I went to bed, and I didn't get to sleep until 6 a.m. Bobby, it was like 6 a.m. And to cast KSL, it was at midday. I woke up at midday, so we slept okay. We slept 6 hours. That's like the bare minimum. But if I'm sleeping that little, and if I'm casting in another 6 hours, I want to be well rested. Like I don't want to be too groggy or falling asleep. So I may have like a couple of hour nap. Might nap for a little bit, have a smallish nap, and get ready for WTL. That's the plan. That's the plan. I might get some breakfast first. Food would be good. But yeah, that's the plan here for today. Tomorrow is going to be day 3 of World Team League, and also Sparkling Tuna Cup. Sparkling Tuna Cup is going to be tomorrow as well, so we will have plenty more StarCraft action for you. When it comes to other things that are going on currently in the esports scene, make up for it with a ladder. You're an animal. I'm not gonna cast ladder then cast. I'm gonna be dead by the time WTL hits. Gonna be absolutely ruined. When it comes to other things that have been going on, there is a Stormgate event currently ongoing. There's a Stormgate event, and I believe it's being covered by Pig and Zombie Grub and Tasteless. They're getting into that Stormgate action. I've yet to play Stormgate. I did tweet earlier today or yesterday, depending on where you are. The reason why I haven't played Stormgate yet is because they don't allow for custom key bindings. They have very limited custom key bindings, so like I can't actually get my StarCraft 2 set up on Stormgate. But shout out to the Stormgate devs, because they have addressed it. They made like a post yesterday talking about feedback that they've gotten, and they've said that custom key bindings are on the agenda. They're like coming soon. So when you can customize key bindings, then we'll play some Stormgate. Until then, I haven't touched it. I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna use like the grid hotkey setup for Storm. That's not happening. So thankfully, you know, Frostgiant are listening, and they're like, you know what? Enough people have complained. We'll allow you to customize the key binding soon. So that's happening eventually, which is exciting. Until then, I've not touched the game, so I have no opinion of it. I have heard some things about it. I've definitely heard that it's a little bit slower than StarCraft, and if the speed of StarCraft is something that you really enjoy, then Stormgate is most likely not going to be for you, as it is a little bit slower paced. But we'll see. I've yet to really touch it myself. So until then, going to be focusing on StarCraft. And yeah, that is where our attention does lie. When it comes to other RTSs, I know that Immortal Gates of Pyre, that's also, I believe their playtest is currently open this weekend. It's a really weird time to open it, what I will say, if I want to be a little bit critical of the people behind Sunspear Games. I think they're behind Immortal Gates of Pyre. To have the open playtest of Immortal Gates of Pyre at the same time as the opening like playtest of Stormgate, that's that's questionable. But I believe that's also open as well. It's the worst time for it though, because as I just mentioned, we have 2 casts a day for the weekend, and the playtest is open for the weekend. I don't have time to play. I don't have time to play Immortal Gates of Fire, but that's open as well if you're interested. For those that are curious, Immortal Gates of Fire is also made by some ex-SE2 people, ex-SE2 enjoyers, and they started as a StarCraft mod, like back in like 2015. It's been a long time. It's been a long time coming. But they used to be called Vanguard. They used to be, if you heard of that, the Vanguard mod in StarCraft 2. That was around back in like 2015, 2016, and they eventually, you know, branched out and turned that mod into a game. It's been in production, in development for many years at this point. And yeah, that's also on the horizon as well. And yeah, there's potential, always room for more RTSs. Likewise, it's like what, Battle Aces and other RTSs on the horizon as well. So yeah, exciting stuff. You'll be fine. You're an animal. I won't be fine. You have more faith in me than I do. It's not gonna be fine. I'm gonna be dead. But yeah, with that, yeah, we're wrapping up. We're gonna be wrapping up here for the time being. Again, we're gonna be back in 6 hours time, so make sure you're around for that. You're around for the next broadcast. Otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. Stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. We'll find someone to send everyone over to. So give them a chance. Give them some support. Give them some love. Check them out. See you guys in 6 hours. Until then, thanks for watching. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego. Also, before I forget, socials. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. All the social medias are in the Twitch channel. They're also in the YouTube chat as well. We do stream on both Twitch and YouTube, so check out our social media links if you want to follow us. Otherwise, see you guys tomorrow. Or see you guys in 6 hours. Bye. Ciao. Hasta luego.